My girlfriend tried to exclude my brother from our new home, so I chose him over her.
Oh.
I would always choose my brother. Obligatory throwaway, but might make it a shadow account because I have a lot of family and people I know on Maine. So sometimes it's weird or I have to post things. My original kept getting pulled by mods over at Am I the A-hole for their rules. I guess I'm too upset to read through them properly, so a friend suggested to post here. The quotes might not be spot on, but it's how the conversation was headed. I, 32 male, have a younger brother, Sam.
Is this about us?
10 male, fake name. He is from my dad's second marriage after my mother passed away. My dad was a good dad. He grieved with me and got me therapy. By the way, this comes from Waste Afternoon 1551 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So, he waited years before dating and then waited until he was sure it was something good before introducing me to my brother's mother. He shut down her attempts at being overly involved or motherly early on because I admitted to not being comfortable with it. She seemed to understand. After they married and had my brother, his wife suffered from PPD and went AWOL. Dad said she left a letter admitting to wanting to hurt Sam.
Oh my God.
Oh, she was saying like I was worried about the feelings that I had where I wanted to hurt my child, so I'm leaving.
Oh, because it was like postpartum. Yeah.
A year or so later, Dad received court documents demanding a divorce and terminating parental rights. She took nothing in the divorce because she didn't want any more interactions than necessary. According to her lawyer, she looked very guilty and ashamed and not in a good way. We haven't heard from her in about 8 years. How would that be in a good way? It's like not in a good way.
I don't know,
Let me
maybe
tell
like,
you.
like guilty, like, it's
Where
like,
it could help
like she knows what she's done is wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
Dad, 61 male, had a health scare during COVID. He was hospitalized, and because he was now high risk and a very bad situation of being in the hospital with the COVID floor/wing, he asked me to take in Sam until he was cleared.
Mm-hmm.
That turned into a long talk about what would happen to Sam if his condition got worse or something else happened. I agreed to take in Sam, and the paperwork was done. What a big responsibility, taking a child.
Yeah.
Sam is a good kid. I feel like we're similar in a lot of ways, growing up without mothers, liking the same things, both are dog people, and we have a strong connection. Sam is well behaved and tries hard in school. Math is his downfall though, so I try to help with that. We have the occasional weekend hangout or trip to the movies or mall or whatever. We have had the standing Comic-Con yearly outing for the last 2 years. This is lovely.
Sounds super fun. I would be into that, as all Sams are.
All Sams are
Sams
into
like
it.
Comic-Con.
It's made dating a little tricky. I know, upfront and honest. I always ask my dates how they feel about kids and go on to explain that I suspect I might be taking in my brother in the next 5 years. Wow. Just to kind of like know that your dad's not doing well and you also might have to take in a child and be a parent.
Yeah, but you could also say like, hey, I'll be taking in this kid, but it won't be that long. It'll only be like, 5 more years after that?
No, I think it's like in the next 5 years, my dad might pass away, so I might have to take in a kid.
Yeah, but like, how old's the kid going to be by that point?
That's true. I don't
Kid's
know.
going to be like 15? What, he's 10 right now? So
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
that's like 3 years of taking care of a kid.
He's like, what? You have to take care of a kid. Oh, I see. 15 to 18.
Yeah,
I see what
yeah,
you're
it's
saying.
like 3 years.
A few have cut the dates short, which was understandable, but the one single mother I was getting to know did the same and said something like, I don't want a guy with that kind of baggage.
Dang.
That put me off dating for like a year.
Dang.
I had thought trying to date someone with kids would have worked out better. I mean, some people are like, I don't want to date another person with kids because I'm already trying to take care of my kid.
But that's not like a kid. Like that's like me. That's like me taking care of you.
Yeah.
Like after you graduate from college, because
No,
it's
it's
like because
not.
you're like you're an adult. You can
But this
take
kid
care
is
of
a
yourself.
child.
Yeah, but
so
like
this would be like you taking care of me when I was 10.
no. Well, he has 5 years, so it'd be like me taking care of you at like 15 to 18, which is hard. That's
so
hard.
You're in college.
Yeah, that's pretty hard.
Pretty tough.
Yeah, never mind.
I wasn't sure what your argument was. Recently, I've been talking to this girl, Kayla, 29 female. Kayla has been really understanding, and she knows I may have to take in my brother. She's kind and sweet. She has no kids, but wants marriage and kids. I don't really like the idea of marriage, but that's something we can figure out. I don't mind the idea of kids. I think 3 would be the max, not including Sam because he's a little older already. Recently, things have been getting more serious, and we are talking about different parenting styles, how to navigate the marriage thing. She brought up prenups in an attempt to make me feel more secure in the idea of marriage, which, as awful as it makes me feel, it kind of does. And housing. We want to live together for a year before diving deeper and more serious. I have been looking into houses already because of my situation with Sam, because a kid needs a yard. I showed her the house, all at least 3 bedrooms with room to grow, finished attics or basements. I told her I would pay for the house since it's my idea to have something on the bigger side, and she can save the money she would have put towards rent for a down payment or something on her end. She could get a rental property as a safety net since this would be considered premarital assets. Even if she gets the house paid off during the marriage, we can write up a post-up for the house itself if need be. Just so she isn't feeling weird about not having her name on the house I want. I also told her she can have free range to decorate the house, minus the room set aside for Sam, which all sounds great.
And so this room is set aside for Sam, but
Yes.
he's not fully living with OP yet.
It sounded like he might be, because the dad was like, I need you to take in Sam because I'm in the hospital. So I think he might be living with him.
So now they're living together as of right
I
now.
believe so, unless
Okay.
I misunderstood. This is where I might be the a-hole. She asked me, room set aside for Sam? I explained that I was immediately going to pick a room and leave it mostly empty for Sam just in case.
Okay, so it's just in case. So Sam's not living with him yet.
I guess not. That leaves us at least 1 room for family growth in the immediate time frame and an attic or basement to grow into if need be, because we haven't put a number on kids yet. Sam could potentially take an attic or basement to start, depending on his age, so that would give us 2 rooms. I think 10 to 12 is too young for that, but at 13, he might see it as a space or a sort of man cave. And then she responds, it's all about Sam then? Right now, I have to keep what would be good and easy for him in mind. Our possible future children are hypothetical and not here yet, which is a great point. Like, it seems like they want to get married and they're not even at that step. So they're looking pretty far ahead.
And also,
when they have
he's been
the
extremely
child.
upfront.
Yes,
that
from the beginning.
He's going to have this
She said,
potential kid.
like it is about Sam.
Yeah.
This is a child that OP's gonna have to take care of, and you said that you were on board.
Potentially.
Potentially.
It's still up in the air, it seems like, but
Yeah.
still, it's like you've been extremely upfront with that.
Our possible future children are hypothetical and not here yet. Our dad may very well not make it to Sam's graduation. Sam's room wouldn't be permanent, and I could pretty easily float the idea of a cool mini loft apartment to a teen. Not so much a tween that dislikes quiet. The girlfriend says, so if our kids want the cool mini apartment, then what? Then they'll freaking get it after Sam graduates in 8 years. Depends on if Sam is out on his own in the world. Depending on his age, he might already be moving rooms once. I'm not giving him a space and then yanking it out from under him a second time when I'll have put a lot of effort into making it comfortable for him. She got really upset and quiet. I told her we will make the other rooms awesome for the kids too.
They don't even have kids.
They don't even have kids. Like she's putting all of this pressure on making sure they have rooms for kids.
And the thing that
don't exist.
I'm confused about is like he was very upfront with her this entire Sam.
Yeah.
This
entire
time.
Sam.
This entire time.
A new unit of
Sam.
time.
Yeah. The best unit of time.
It's the time until you have to take care of your brother.
Sam.
Your Sam.
Your respective Sam, whatever Sam's closest to you. But yeah, no, I think it's a little bit it's a weird flip.
Yeah.
But like maybe she wasn't thinking about it as real until it became like real.
Yeah, until they were buying a house.
Yeah.
And she was like, wait a minute. I want my children to have the cool basement. Baby rooms are different from teen rooms. And I would want our kids closer because they're going to be much younger. Also, they're small. They don't need that much room.
Yeah, dude, you can stack babies on top of each other.
So easily.
They literally like you could have one crate for all of them.
Yeah, just stuff them in a closet.
Yeah, dude. They used to put babies in the
In
drawers.
drawers.
In drawers. Yeah, they didn't have cribs. They just had drawers, and you put a
You put a
blanket
blanket
in
in there.
cabinet. You put a blanket in there, and then you just stack a bunch of babies in drawers.
What?
I wouldn't want them going up and down a set of stairs to get to us or 2 sets for a drink in the middle of the night. By the time they might want a mini apartment, Sam could have launched from the nest. But this world is crashing so hard, so he might not be out at 18. Which brings me back to the math of if we start having kids next year, Sam will be 18 by the time they're 7 and younger, which would be too young for me to want them in an attic or basement. She demanded to know what I would do if they did want his room. Tell them no. They're your kids. You can say no to them.
Yeah. Also, these imaginary
kids. She's like, what of our kids? You would deny our kids?
Don't exist. Also, like, on what time frame are you having these kids? Because
I don't know. They're not married yet. And again, like, this is not that you have to be married to have kids, but it seems like out of wedlock. No, but like it seems like that's their plan. So they're not even halfway through their plan.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like it's going to be at least 3 years until they're popping out kids.
I would explain to them they can't have it and that we should find epic things to make the rooms just as awesome. I would let them help design, pick paints and rugs and things. A 7 to 10-year-old is going to be thrilled to have that chance. And you know what I'm thrilled about? You guys joining us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. You just have to tap our profile.
Just freaking tap it.
Just tap it.
Tap.
But there's a little bit left to the story. But what do we think? Do we think OP's the a-hole?
No. OP has been extremely upfront about this child, this Sam that he might be taking in.
Also, it seems like they kind of just started dating.
Yeah, and then she's already like, I need a bunch of rooms for my kids. Also, red flag to be, are they thinking about owning this home together?
No, so he said, I'll buy it.
Okay, thank God.
He's gonna buy it fully.
Yeah, I think she's trying to move too fast.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And what if they still want his room? Not a lookalike, his room, says the girlfriend. Then I would say someone was filling their heads with nonsense if they wanted his room for no other reason than it was the attic or a basement. Most kids that young get scared of the dark or weird sounds, and they wouldn't give up their place closer to their parents unless pushed.
I had a room that was shared with my office and the dog.
Mom's office.
Yeah, it was mom's office, and my bed turned into a couch during the day. And Sophia had her own room with 2 beds.
With the bunk bed.
With the bunk bed.
Wait, but we must have shared a room pre that house.
We definitely shared a room.
Sam was 6 when our dad had his health scare. He was not keen on the guest room in my apartment because it was still strange. But if our kids just really wanted it, what would you do? Would you pick them?
Oh, she's asking.
Would you pick me over yours? Oh, Sam.
Would you pick our kids over?
Yeah. I might be the a-hole. I guess I'd choose Sam. I was so frustrated and done with the conversation at that point because it felt like we were running in circles. I gave all the reasons for Sam to have his own room to start and why he would be put in the attic or basement. Am I the a-hole? She refuses to talk to me now. And that is the end of that story.
OP is not the a-hole.
OP, you're not the a-hole.
Break up. This is a major red flag. Bro, run. She's trying to lock you down now. Check for holes in your contraceptives.
My sister-in-law licked my face. Now my brother doesn't want to talk to me.
Well, she could have done something worse to his face.
She could have licked a worse part of the body, that's for sure. I'm sorry for the title, but that's as concise as I could be about it. I'm 22 male and my brother is 28 male. He's been engaged to his fiance for a few months now. She is 24. My brother's fiance is your typical spoiled party girl, and TBH, so is my brother.
Match made in heaven.
Yeah, two spoiled party girls. By the way, this comes from user Strange Temperature 00 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, in the last year or so, my brother and I have had a strained relationship. This is mostly due to differences of opinion when helping to take care of our mom, who's struggling with some PTSD/anxiety. She got held hostage by a man at her job and is still recovering and not back to work yet.
What the heck?
Out
of all the PTSD problems I thought she had, that was not on the list I had.
Yeah, I would not expect hostage situation. Shout out to OP's mom for being on the road to recovery. That's rough. For some context, my brother is a very impatient and opinionated person who struggles to see things outside of his own perspective. He doesn't have a good grasp on mental health, and he is easily persuaded by what he reads online and gets caught up in conspiracy theories. I noticed the COVID/pandemic kind of exacerbated all of this. I work as a paramedic, and he's been arguing with me about thinking I know better than him ever since. I mean, you're a paramedic, so I would hope that you know better, right?
Let's hope so.
I'm adopted and my bio mom was of a different ethnicity, so we don't look like brothers. When he can't think of a way to win an argument, he brings up the fact that I'm not his real son or his real brother.
That's all he could do.
You're going to just use adoption to win an argument? That's lame.
Maybe because you're adopted.
You're adopted.
Dude, being adopted, you have the best clapback. You know what it is?
Yeah, because it's like they wanted me. At least they wanted me. Boom. Slam dunk. It wasn't always like this between us, which is sad. He's just not the same person, and I'm not sure if it's the work stress or life stress or what. I get that this post is going to be skewed by my perspective, but I'll try to be objective when it comes to the conflict. My birthday was last weekend, which is when this happened. My brother's fiance apparently had the idea to throw me a surprise party.
Ooh.
What a nice thing for her to suggest.
That's so sweet.
I'm sure she won't do anything to make your brother upset.
Couldn't imagine what she could do.
Most of the people there were friends of my brother and the fiance, and everyone was wasted. They made a bit of a show bringing me out a cake and having me blow out the candles. But before I did that, my brother's fiance swiped frosting on her finger and put it on my cheek.
Okay.
I think I know where this is going. I thought it was just her being nice and not trying to smash a piece of cake in my face. I blew out the candles, and after I did that, his fiance grabbed my face and licked it, like from my jaw all the way up the side of my face.
I'm going to try to be John for a second. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Shoo, I would expect that from my girlfriend.
Yeah, that is girlfriend behavior. Maybe she just got confused. Well, she couldn't have got confused because they don't look alike, do they?
They don't look anything alike.
Made it very clear that they do not look the same. I have no idea why she did this. We don't even have the kind of relationship where it would be funny. My brother's face changed, his demeanor changed, and he became very withdrawn and irritable, which...
Ooh.
I mean, everyone's been drinking. Everyone's a little, off the rocker, so to speak. I would chalk it up to that. But this if I was the brother, right? If I'm getting engaged to this chick, I'm not trying to make this a big deal. It's my brother. She's being cheeky. She's drunk. I'm moving on. I'm moving forward from this.
But it doesn't sound like this guy has a kind of healthy mindset.
Don't think he has the emotional maturity to let that one go. They were seen quietly fighting, and he ended up just leaving the party.
Oh, gosh, dude.
I brought it up the next day to make sure he was okay, and apparently the two of them made up. It's me that he has an issue with. Wow. Shocker. I don't know what she told him, but it seems as if I'm the one being made out to be flirting with her and wanting her, etc., which is not even remotely true.
They are a perfect match made in heaven.
Yeah, she did the old classic switcheroo. It wasn't me. It was him.
Ooh.
He planted that frosting on his face for me to lick off.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't think so, girl.
Not buying it.
I told him, leave me out of his relationship. It's his partner who disrespected him and embarrassed him. He's angry at the wrong person. Oh, wait, I missed a word there. I told him to leave me out of his relationship problems. It's his partner who disrespected him and embarrassed him. He's angry at the wrong person. I refuse to apologize. Apparently, I'm going to be out of the wedding unless I do. He's upset because I won't admit to my mistake. Well, I don't feel like I made one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't feel like you did either. What were you supposed to do?
Not.
She's like, shove her off of you? Then you've got another mistake that you've made. Now it's like, what are you doing?
Maybe give her a weird eye, like.
Yeah, maybe you should have recoiled. You should have recoiled harder. If you're really my bro and you weren't adopted, you would have recoiled. That's what he's going to throw at you. Guaranteed. He's going to bring up the adoption in some way.
Oh, heck yeah, dude.
I don't feel like... I don't feel like I made one. Should I just do it for the sake of settling it? Normally, I'm willing to be the bigger person, but this is a false accusation that I don't want attached to myself. Am I the a-hole? And there are some comments here, and I wonder, let me see if there's an update too. I I think we've just got a lot. Oh, we do have an update and a lot of comments.
A lot of
but
comments.
let's
You're
maybe
nowhere
get-
near the a-hole, and I'm sorry that there are people in your life that make you feel like you are, when in reality, people need to get their eyes checked.
Yeah, it's like that was clearly someone else's mistake that they
Yeah,
made, which
yeah.
would be
You
the
did-
fiance of your brother.
You did nothing to egg this on or initiate it.
Yeah.
You're good.
She just licked the wrong face and is now making it your problem.
What are these comments?
So
say?
let's see what these comments say. Calla C-Mac says, your brother and his fiance are behaving like children. If you apologize for this incident, then it's likely that he will continue to treat you with disrespect. And if
Yeah.
he takes you out of the wedding, he'll have to explain the reason to others, which should prove embarrassing to him and his fiance. Perhaps you should call him on his bluff. I haven't thought about that. Regardless, not the a-hole. And OP responds, you know what? I'm not opposed to threatening him with that. Thank you.
What was it? Sorry, what was his bluff again?
The bluff is, he says, if you don't apologize, then you can't come to the wedding.
Gotcha.
An edit to provide a little more context. Somebody asked if she had flirted with OP in the past. OP responds, I never thought about it, and actually, nothing really sticks out. She's obsessed with K-pop, and I'm half Korean, so she's made comments to me, but I didn't interpret them as flirting. I thought she was just trying to be nice, and I don't know how else to connect when I shared about the whole being adopted thing. When she's sober, she's way more awkward and shy. My brother lives with my mom, so usually when I visit and we're talking, my mom and brother are around too, and it's more of a family vibe.
Gotcha.
So maybe there's like a little secret crush that
Yeah.
the fiance has on OP
I could see that.
that only came out after she got a little crunk on the drunk sauce. You know what I'm saying?
I could definitely see that.
And maybe brother knows this. Brother knows this, and that's why he got so defensive.
I don't think brother can know that and still be with her. So I disagree.
Well, it would make sense why he's projecting it onto the brother then. Because you can't reconcile it with the fiance.
I don't
because
think
that's not really reconcilable being like, you have a crush on my brother. We're getting married.
I don't think he'd still be with her though.
Well, let's see what happened in this update.
Oh boy.
Let's see what happened in the update. After trying to reach out to my brother, he finally came around and stopped ignoring me. He didn't want to talk about what happened, but was willing to put it behind us. To be honest, I think talking about it would have been healthier, but I decided to let it go because he was so adamant about it. Then, just the other day, he came to me on his own and admit that he feels unsure about his relationship and is struggling to trust his fiance ever since the incident on my birthday.
So he came to his senses.
Wow. So he realized, hey, maybe I don't want face licker as a wife. Because she's not licking my face. Why is she licking your face? Adopted brother? I told him there's no rush to get married and he should take his time to figure out what he's feeling. I didn't try to give any particular opinion because I feel like this is something he needs to figure out for himself. Also, I genuinely don't know what's going on between them. He still took what I said the wrong way somehow, and we ended up having an argument.
Weird.
Of course.
That's so weird.
You're just trying to be like, you don't have to rush into this marriage because what? They've been engaged for just a couple months. You can have a long engagement. And you're trying to be like, what? So you think that we don't belong together? It's like, you just came to me and said that.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you right now, you can always come to us every weekday when we go live on YouTube at 3 p.m. PST. All you got to do is tap our profile. So let's discuss before we finish this story off. What's the right path of action here?
I don't know. They don't really sound healthy for one another. I don't think the brother is a person that is... Honestly, I don't think he's ready to be married yet, or seems like a person to be married. And if he's unsure about his engagement, like you said, make it a little longer.
Yeah, a long engagement. I think OP doesn't have to worry about not getting invited to the wedding from the sound of it because I don't know if there's even going to be one.
Yeah.
Let's finish this off, shall we?
All right.
My brother thinks that I'm not happy for him and I don't want to see him successful or starting a family. I tried to walk away at this point in the conversation because no matter what I said, it was just going to get misconstrued, but he didn't want to stop fighting. Oh, brother. Somewhere in that, I finally learned why he's so mad at me these days. It turns out he's been pissed that our mom paid for my tuition.
Oh, wow.
I've been doing overtime to pay her back. Clarification, if it matters. She doesn't actually want me to pay her back. It was a gift, but I would like to pay her back slowly.
Mm-hmm.
So also, OP is a man of principle.
Yeah.
Which, good for you, OP. My brother feels like this money should have been given to him for his wedding, which I'm no longer invited to. Hey, congratulations on missing the chaos, the disaster.
Oh my gosh. This guy's so entitled.
Yeah, you're better off without it. You don't need to be there. I don't really know how to fix things, but that's where we're at. Oh, and you know what? We do have some comments that really just sort of agree here that OP is not the one at fault in this situation.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know if there's anything you can do about this, OP, because it seems like most of this isn't even about your relationship, you know, with your brother. It's more about his relationship with his fiance.
And mom.
Yeah, and the mom.
But
with the tuition.
He's just entitled on that point. My parents paid for my tuition, not my brother's. But my brother just did not make good grades in high school, and they clearly said, hey, if you don't make good grades, we're not going to help you out.
There you go. But you got to have the return on investment, right?
But he got better grades in college and started working hard, and they saw that, and they were like, you know what? Okay, cool. We'll do it. But
yeah, you could, and on the back end.
On the back end.
Yeah.
It's weird to think that he is entitled to this money.
I think the weirdest thing is the context in which he feels entitled to it. Like,
because he's getting married.
Yeah, it's like that money should have been for my wedding. It's like, how are you? I don't even think you can equate those two things. It's like one is like going to college, and then the other is just an event.
Yeah,
it's like those aren't the same things.
And he probably feels entitled to it because he keeps throwing up in his face, you're not actually my biological brother.
Yeah.
So he probably feels resentment towards that.
Yep, that makes sense.
I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think.
Yeah, but just a real poopy baby. OP's older brother. A real poopy baby.
That's the end of that story.
Yeah, that is the end of that story.
My brother and I have always fought, but now his reactions are so extreme that I'm worried about him.
I was gonna say something really, there's like nothing witty there. That was just like, this is serious.
We are all worried. Me, male 23, and my brother, male 20, have been fighting for as long as I can remember. But I'm starting to worry about his situation. I believe he's going crazy. By the way, this comes from user Historical Industry 77 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, context. My brother neither works nor studies. He completed his high school's final year online by choice, saying he would study for the university entrance exam, but he didn't. Instead, he just played online games all day and night. Up until this year, that's all he did. Now he just browses YouTube all day, as far as I know. Here are the latest 3 instances since I returned to the country. Instance 1, I came back from my 6-month exchange program abroad. We spent 2 weeks together as a family on holiday, and nothing bad happened. On the way back home, my brother constantly harassed and humiliated my mom because she didn't know how to control her new car's smart panel, like the radio and all that thing, you know.
It's not a futuristic car. It's just like a new car, and there's a lot of technology with it.
For the first time, I said, quote, "How can you speak to your mother like that?" He then went silent for 1 to 2 hours. Later, my mom tried to figure out the radio again, and this time my brother got even more furious. My mom couldn't understand his instructions because she's not good with electronics, and my brother, being someone chronically online, gave commands that were impossible for her to follow. The only thing I said was, "Your instructions are bad," and pointing at me like he was possessed. He punched his side of the window full force. Thankfully, nothing broke, and went even crazier in his seat. The first thing my father did, he was driving the car, was pull over and tell my brother he could drive the car. This is how my father's brain works. He gives candy to the crying baby. More context. Every time my brother acts out, my parents reward or enable his behavior to calm him down or avoid dealing with the problem. They live their lives quietly in a house where 3 people never leave their designated rooms. Even then, my brother insults all of us as a family, despite my parents enabling his lifestyle. Instance number 2. After a period of no contact between me and my brother, even though we live in the same house, I felt bad and decided to cheer him up. I told him I found a server for an old MMO we used to play as kids and asked if he wanted to play. He said okay, and we spent some good time together, acting like he hadn't behaved like he was possessed in the car. In the game, he constantly tried to scam or take advantage of people who were helping us because we were newbies. He called them the R slur. Context, I called my brother this countless times growing up, including in our last fight, so I am partly to blame for this. I got bored and quit playing the game, but my brother kept playing. He progressed a lot further and started joining player versus player lobbies. After a while, he came to me and said he quit too. I asked why, since he seemed to enjoy the game so much, and he told me that his groups started kicking him out because of his behavior towards other players.
Oh, I wonder why. He's toxic.
Yeah, hello? I said, whatever, and we moved on to playing League of Legends as a duo.
That's not good.
Picked a more toxic game to play.
Not the best choice. You knew that was going to be a bad time.
Let's keep going.
I don't want to keep going. I already know what this is going to lead to.
Let's ask League of Legends immediately.
I like how we get League of Legends brought up a lot.
My brother was a very high ranked player before he stopped gaming this year. Think like top 0.1%. We were playing together and it was supposed to be just two brothers playing for fun. But he started dying in a ranked game and falling behind. I told him it was okay and we could still play together and have fun and win. Instead, he acted like a mad dog, breaking loose in the chat and arguing with teammates. His insults shifted from "you suck" to a little more intense, like "you have no life and you're an animal." That's when I started believing my brother has low self-esteem and projects it onto others.
Oh, you don't say?
We were kind of on that track a little earlier.
Little
Let's
bit.
continue. Instance number 3. I was about to leave the house to go to the gym when my mom called me to help her connect an Ethernet cable to her wall-mounted TV. She couldn't find the port. I checked it and couldn't find it either. I suggested using my brother's Ethernet to USB adapter, which should work. She called my brother, and as I stood by the door ready to leave, my brother asked me to help take the TV off the wall because he believed there was an Ethernet port behind it. I told him I didn't want to, both verbally and physically, because I was about to leave for a kickboxing class. He insisted. I cussed at him, he cussed at me, and eventually we laid the TV flat, and it turned out there was indeed an Ethernet port. My brother was right.
Okay.
He jumped with joy, but quickly turned angry. Within seconds, he was screaming, cussing at me and my mom, acting possessed. He screamed his lungs out and then stormed off to his room. We had no contact for 3 days.
I would have taken your brother to kickboxing class. I think he's got some energy that he just needs to get.
He might need a release.
You need to release that energy.
But it's like, to me, it sounds like the wires are getting crossed, where it's like it should have just been a moment of like, ha, see, I was right. And then it turned into like, see, I was right. Why didn't you believe me?
Yeah.
And it's like something there is therapy.
Therapy
would deeply help.
For sure. Therapy,
Your
talking
brother,
to
I
someone, but also exuberate that energy into something positive.
Yeah, you need a hobby.
You need a
a
hobby.
physical activity that's not
Just something out of the house.
sitting and playing games.
Or like screaming
Something.
at people, being toxic. Just like,
Yeah.
just going to the gym. Go for a run. Going for a run,
It starts small.
it starts small.
Change
but
begins with small things.
But trust me, it helps that mental state so much. It makes you feel so much better.
Indeed. Now, today, I got injured at work, went to the hospital, and decided it was all stupid. I went to my brother's cave to apologize for my behavior. Never once in our fights has he apologized first. He doesn't even apologize back when we both act stupid. I apologized. His eyes turned red within seconds, and he told me that all of us, the whole family, are dead to him.
Why? After an apology? Like, hey, I'm sorry how things went,
This
and then
is-
he blew up. Again,
Complete and total emotional dysregulation. I think your worries about your brother are not invalid.
No.
I think your concern is well placed, and like I said, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I can't make any calls, but
No.
I can make the judgment call that therapy would
Trillion percent.
definitely be a positive impact.
needed.
He said these terrible things while eating his online ordered food and watching YouTube. For more context, for years after every fight, my brother refuses to eat anything my mom cooks because he knows it makes her sad. Dude, that's not cool.
Mom's trying to cook you some good food, some homemade meal, and you deny it because you know it's going to make her sad. You want to make her feel more work.
And this is from before, so he's had very intense negative behavioral loops. She eventually just starts bringing food to his room, hoping to fix things. And for a while, he stopped this behavior because he had no income and online orders were expensive. but now my dad funds his lifestyle.
The parents are supporting it rather than fixing.
Hard work is ahead for this guy.
For the family, sure, but
It's gonna
definitely
take all
for the brother.
It's going to be hard work for the whole family. This
Hard
is going to
work.
require the whole family being a part of this.
The most work is going to be OP's brother.
Yeah, of course. But you know what's not really hard work?
What's that?
You joining us when we go live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok. I feel like I change the order every time. All you got to do is tap our profile.
Just tap it.
And you're in.
You know what? We might even be live right now, but don't check that out just yet. We're going to make sure that we have some resolution, or we at least have a follow-up on OP's brother.
A little bit of story left here.
But I think we said our piece.
Yeah. He needs help. Your brother needs help. He's
And
right in
before-
that perfect age range of like where things start to develop and, exacerbated, like it's things that may have been there for, a handful of years through the, mid, early or late teens are now blossoming into like full-blown mental issues / disorders.
It's taking it out on everyone, and
Yeah,
it's draining
it's-
everyone. It's making everyone miserable. And again, you're seeing that, OP. It's time to stop it. At least pump the brakes before it gets more out of hand. If he's got a lot of pent-up energy, like I said, therapy, some exercise, or at least some hobby like yoga, something that just takes that anger and puts it into something positive.
Let's finish this off. I don't know what to do. Sometimes I think about cutting off contact with my brother and family for real, unlike my brother's empty threats. My parents will enable his behavior as long as they can, but other times I think that this is all stupid. No one except me seems willing to admit that they've done things wrong or acknowledge that there's a problem that needs addressing. Has anyone experienced something similar? I'd appreciate your thoughts and advice. And that is the end of the story. When he's going low, you got to go high in this situation. You got to move with love. I mean, based on his behavior, he doesn't deserve it. But if you are in the mind state of, I want to help him, then that's what you got to do.
It's not just helping the brother. It's helping the mom.
Well, yeah,
it's helping the dad.
it helps
it's
the whole
helping
family.
the whole family
Yeah.
as just the whole. So as the oldest, this is where you stand up. Either you let go, you run away, or you pick up the work and you just put in a lot of effort.
Maybe approach the parents first too. Try to get them, to see the severity of the situation.
But that's the end of that story, guys.
My brother ignored us for years. Now he wants part of the inheritance. My dad passed away almost 2 months ago now. He had 3 children, myself and my 2 older brothers. Being the only girl in the family, my older brothers had a tendency to push me around thinking that they knew more than I did because they were older than me. Whatever. By the way, this comes from Competitive Alps 871 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So once we all became adults, Brother B, I will refer to him, Brother B, let's call him Brad, went off on his own and pretty much alienated our family. Then he got married and he further alienated our family. He had only my parents, only grandchildren, and I can literally count on one hand how many times he brought them to visit my parents before Brother Brad's own kids became adults in spite of living only 10 minutes away from my parents. They never visited them. In case anybody is wondering, no, Brother Brad was not abused or anything growing up. He just has always been selfish and self-centered. If anything, he was the spoiled one growing up. Our parents were way more lenient with him than they were with my brother and I. The few times his family had contact with my parents, his wife in particular was quite nasty with my mom. My mom was quite elderly by the time the grandchildren were little, so that further irritated me for her to disrespect an elderly person, let alone their mother/grandmother. But to keep peace in the family, I'll let it slide. Strangely enough, had I spoken up, I would have been the bad person, and I knew this, and I didn't want to further make waves, so I remained silent. I did speak up pretty tactfully to my dad a couple of times about it, and I already saw it was going to create huge waves, so I let it go. My dad and I did ask Brother Brad a couple times why he rarely visited my parents, and Brother Brad would say he was busy. But he sure made plenty of time for his wife's side of the family. I mean, I get that it happens like that sometimes, so we pretty much just accepted it. We could see nothing was going to change, so why get ourselves upset over something that clearly was not going to change? Fast forward to my dad passing a couple months ago. Brother Brad has been bugging me about Dad's will. I mean, literally, Dad was not even cold in the ground yet. And Brother Brad, who notoriously never called me, suddenly was calling me asking about Dad's will. Little surprise, Brother Brad started contacting both myself and Brother Adam. Brother Adam is Dad's executor. I'm guessing he's going to try to talk to us into giving him a percentage of our inheritance. Now, I can say that Dad told Brother Adam and I many times the reason he did this was because Brother Brad had already inherited a large bundle from my dad's 2 sisters, and Brother Adam and I had not. So Dad kind of wanted to level the playing field, so to speak. But Brother Brad started this whole conversation by basically saying he guesses he wasn't a very good son or brother, which, yes, I guess you could say that. Brother Adam and I ignored that text of his. Then Brother Brad began making some small talk through text. I initially replied, keeping it brief, but now I'm ignoring those texts also. Brother Adam still somewhat talks with him via text, which I think is foolish, but that's obviously his decision. One of my dad's sisters passed away earlier last year, and Brother Brad was cut out of her will, though she previously signed her house over to him, which he sold for almost $200,000. Brother Brad began hounding me and also my dad, trying to persuade us to get Brother Adam to divide his very large inheritance from Auntie. That aunt left the lion's share to Brother Adam, and trust to me, it was a massive fortune. Brother Adam retired.
Wow.
That is big. That's a lot of money.
If you got enough money to retire, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. At least like potentially, close to $1 million.
Probably more than that.
Yeah, probably more than that, but at least $1 million.
At least, at the very least. I feel like you're rushing if you just retire as soon as you get $1 million.
Yeah.
It's usually a little rushed. Depending on where you live, maybe.
Well, I mean, I feel like you could retire for $1 million in like most areas around the states that are not cities.
Yeah. But I just mean like, maybe just wait, like you can keep going a little. I guess there's something. Is there something that stops you? I guess in my head when you retire, it's like there's like a rule. It's like no more work for you. No.
You could like retire from doing stuff you hate.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, our dad was already in hospice by then, almost at 93 years old. He certainly did not need that aggravation of being hounded about his sister and her will. And I know how Brother Brad is. Once he starts on a topic, he just doesn't shut up. He was doing his best to persuade Dad to get Brother Adam to split his inheritance. At the time, I did try to see Brother Brad basically being banned from seeing Dad because, in my honest opinion, Dad didn't need that stress and aggravation. But the hospice staff told me because Dad was still of sound mind, it had to be my dad's decision. So now here we are again. Brother Brad is doing what he did when our aunt passed away, starting off with small talk, but I'm eventually sure he's going to be working his way into asking that the inheritance be split up. Incredible, or should I say incredulous. At any rate, when this first started happening, I felt a little bit bad because I felt like I just lost my dad. Then I was losing Brother Brad, but I quickly realized you can't mourn a relationship that you didn't have. So I don't feel bad at all. I am not one to ignore people. And yes, it sucks that it's family, let alone immediate family. But quite honestly, I guess he's getting what he deserves after all these years. So am I wrong for feeling this way? I suppose some people might say he's trying to build a relationship, but a leopard doesn't change his spots. And truthfully, this is his MO. I saw it whenever my aunt passed away, and I can say with 99.99999 certainty, he's never going to try to build a relationship with us / my brother Adam and I.
Okay, so when it comes to the turns of phrase that are like the leopard never changes its spots and you can't teach an old dog new tricks and like people never change, it's like there are people who never change.
A lot of people
but there are
change.
People that do. And it's like a lot of those phrases were invented at a time where like people didn't have the resources that we have now. People didn't understand each other interpersonally or even like internally, like personally, the way that they can now.
Good call out.
So although it is important to like keep people honest if they're changing or not. Like if someone says they're changing, you have to be like, well, that's one thing you're going to have to show me though. Mm-hmm. And then if they renege on that or they backslide to old behaviors, you get to go, hey, remember how you said you were going to change? You're doing the thing again.
If he does try to build a fake relationship, it's going to be brief until he probably would get a chunk of our inheritance. Then I can pretty much guarantee he will be back to ignoring our side of the family. The sad thing is, like Brother A said, we could give him all our inheritance and it still wouldn't appease him. He is just never happy. Nothing is ever enough for him. But hopefully we can be enough for you when you join our live every weekday, 3 p.m. PST, right here on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok and Twitch. Just tap our profile. We're probably live right now. There's another relevant update, but let's discuss, which we just did. And so we're going to go into this update. So it sucks. It's sad, but it happens. I was hurt for many years by our brother alienating us, and I was further hurt realizing that even though we maybe spoke to him once or twice a year, we would not be speaking to him at all now. That made me sad at first, but really sad to say, I really don't care now. Am I the a-hole for feeling this way, for my decision to ignore Brother Brad from here on? I did try many times to have a relationship with that brother and his family. When his kids were little, I would buy them nice Christmas gifts, things like PlayStations, that sort of thing. So I did try to have a relationship with them. They all chose to still ignore me and this side of the family. By the time the kids were almost 10 years old, I stopped buying them Christmas gifts. What was the point? But yeah, I did try to have a relationship with them and it failed. And I haven't had this happen with family, but I had a friendship that was super important to me that just like kind of disintegrated. And I kept making an effort, and this person just didn't want to make an effort. And after a certain amount of time, you just have to say, all right, that person doesn't want to make an effort. I'm not going to wish them harshly or like speak badly of them, but I'm going to respect that they want this like relationship to die, or maybe die is too harsh, but to peter out, to fade. And just as everyone has every right to keep the relationship they want in their life, and for me to ask for a reason for me to ask for that connection, I feel just I have no right to that. I think a relationship is a two-way street.
It totally is.
Any relationship, the friendship, again, your partnership, your loved ones, it's a two-way street.
And sometimes relationship context can change without. Mass says, was it that girl with the boyfriend Sam? Damn, you guys have great memory. Yes, it was.
They just know your lore.
It was a girl. No, sorry. Was it that girl with the boyfriend? No, it was not. No, sorry.
I was about to say,
friend from college.
Well, I feel like I know why that friendship ended.
No. Sorry, friend from college. From college.
Yeah, that would be a crazy twist, though.
No. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well. Yeah, it does take work, and that's why as we get older, our circles tend to get smaller as we get out of school and out of high school and out of college.
It's harder to maintain
because it does. It takes energy and it takes a presence, and like when you're in a communal place with a bunch of people all the time, it's really easy to maintain sort of that familiarity and that presence. But as people move on and they like start all their own lives, like it does take a lot of effort to maintain like long distance friendships and to have them maintain the level of meaning and depth that they had in the past.
And especially in a place like America, where I feel like there's not many, communal spaces. There's not like these third spaces where people join and congregate as much as maybe, in places like some areas of Europe. I feel like America does it really well in college, where everyone congregates and there's this massive sense of community. And then outside of that, maybe you get it at work, but most often not.
Yeah, I think most people would go work. I mean, maybe like church if they're religious.
It's hard. And it takes effort. You can do it. It actually is like a problem that I want to work on in general. Like solving loneliness is something I'm super passionate about.
That's actually really awesome.
Yeah. Which is new show is coming out January that kind of addresses that problem. So
stay tuned.
I showed you guys this. That right?
I think so. I don't want to blow it, but I think I have seen it.
Yeah. But
and it's really good, honestly, from what I've seen. Yeah.
Thanks, bro. I'm excited. But with that is the end of that story.
My brother cut ties with his son, but I invited him to my wedding anyway. Let's get into the drama. I, 33 male, am marrying my fiance, 37 male, this winter. We're putting together the guest list to send the invitations out and have run into an issue over my nephew and my brother.
I'm sensing a little homophobe.
Oh, I hope not. By the way, this comes from user regular dare 1057 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, my brother, 38 male, was 18 when his girlfriend told him she was pregnant. They ended up moving in together, and my brother decided to go find work as a mechanic rather than go to college as he'd planned. My nephew was born a little while later. They got married when she told him she was pregnant with their second kid, who's now 15 female, and then had 2 more who are now both 10 male. Ever since my nephew was born, he's been literally one of my favorite people. I babysat him plenty of times, same with my other siblings, and have spent my 20s as their gunkle, which is gay uncle. Dude, we're going to get flagged for nibbling and we're going to get flagged for gunkle.
Oh, what an episode.
My brother and me were close as kids, and I've been close with his kids as well. 5 years ago, my brother found out my nephew wasn't his, and his now ex-wife had been sleeping with someone else at the time and had suspected my oldest nephew wasn't my brother's since he was a little kid. They ended up getting a divorce, and my brother didn't seek custody of my oldest nephew and said he didn't want to see him. He told me that he needed time to process and would try to patch things up later. That idea was kind of ruined when my nephew turned up at my brother's apartment begging to talk, which turned into an argument between them. For context, our father had just passed a couple of months earlier. During the argument, my nephew said something along the lines of, "No wonder mom effed somebody else. I bet grandpa hated."
He's just mad. He's just resentful.
And that's what happens when you abandoned a child simply for being born. My brother cut things off then and there and has refused to see my nephew since. I stepped in as the main male figure in my nephew's life, much as I dislike my ex-sister-in-law. I even took him out for his 18th birthday and took him looking at universities, and he now goes to my alma mater. I asked my brother how he wants to handle the seating situation if they don't want to be close together. My brother was angry I'd even invite my nephew after everything that happened. Again, dork, he didn't do anything wrong. He was just born. Stop taking it out on him. He said it would be like inviting my ex-sister-in-law. Quote, "He's not family. He's just the prick who disrespected our dad." I said he's being petty and childish, taking the words of a scared and angry 14-year-old so personally. He was a kid who said something crappy because his entire world was falling apart, and the person he'd relied on for his whole life was suddenly pulling away. Yeah. And instead of being understanding and doing family therapy or something like a grown-up, my brother decided to give adult weight to a teenager's words and cut him off completely. My nephew has said he's okay with not going if it's causing an issue, but I told him not to be ridiculous. He's important to me, and I want him there for when I marry my person. I told him he shouldn't let my brother's inability to let go be his problem. My fiance agrees with me. My mom and sister both say I need to see it from my brother's perspective. I think he's just being petty. Am I the a-hole? I don't know, dude. What's your thought on that?
I don't think he's the a-hole. The father's clearly hurt. He doesn't know what to do. He's still trying to figure out what to do. And, finding out your kids aren't actually your kids is a hard thing to go through. But that's I don't know. You spent a lot of time with that kid.
You've already raised the kid.
Yeah.
It's different if it was like a newborn, right? You've already raised the child. It'd be different if it's like he's coming with also the sister-in-law. If he's coming with the ex-wife who was cheating. If it's just the nephew, or it's hard keeping track. The nephew is the person who we're talking about, his son. I can understand it's a complex situation, but that was just not, you took it out on the wrong person.
Oh, yeah.
That guy, the kid was innocent.
And as the gunkle you are, I would just be there for the nephew. Be there for all of them and be like, hey, I'm there. I know your family's in shambles right now, but I'm here for you.
Yeah, try to explain that your brother is not handling this right. And that he's also going through something like you said. I mean, his whole world's falling apart too. But, think of the children. Think of the children. Update. I decided to follow some of your advice and talk to him about what happened and set some boundaries with my brother. So I saw him in person to talk things over. I told him that my nephew has been in my life for more than half of my life. I was 14 when he was born. I've been his uncle for 19 years, and fundamentally, He's not the one that betrayed my brother. Exactly. And while I can't imagine what must have been going through my brother's head at the time, it's not my battle to fight. And even if it were, I'm not obligated to take it out on a kid who had nothing to do with it. What he said was extremely crappy, yeah. But we're talking about someone who was 14 at the time and absolutely did not have the emotional maturity to handle the situation. I told him my nephew was open to a mutual apology. So bottom line, my nephew is invited and he's getting a +1. And I will seat him away from my brother if he wishes, but that is the most I will do.
Nice.
They can talk or not talk, kiss and make up, or ignore each other all night. But I'm not making it my fight.
Nice. I like that.
My brother said he understood and would think about it. Then a couple days later, he inebriated texted me a complete 180 and asked if I could invite ex-sister-in-law too, which I think is probably because he RSVP'd, including his new girlfriend as his +1, and she's 26, I think.
Oh, boy.
Definitely don't do that.
Oh, boy.
I just know my niece complained it was gross that her dad's new girlfriend was a year closer to her age than his. That's not a good look, dude. My brother at his best is charming, confident, looks-wise, kind of like a chunkier version of me, so not bad looking. Humble flex from OP right there.
Humble flex from Grunkle.
And he had no trouble pulling women post-divorce once he got his confidence back and lost weight. I declined his wasted request, but his girlfriend is nice, and I told my niece that girlfriend is inside the half +7, so he can't be completely grossed out. Since some have asked about my nephew and ex-sister-in-law, I'll explain. She didn't know for sure that my nephew wasn't my brother's, but she strongly suspected, and she was sleeping with both her affair partner and my brother at the time. Wow, so he did all that without even absolute confirmation too, that's crazy to me.
That's wild.
After you've already raised the child. For about a year after the divorce, my nephew would throw the deception back in her face every time she reprimanded him until I sat him down and pointed out that the more people he pushes away, the fewer people he has in his corner when things go south. Bottom line, she is his mother. After the debacle with my nephew, my brother and ex-sister-in-law were more careful with my niece and the twins about not making adult problems their problems as well. Sorry there was no Scarlet A like many of you would have liked. She's not my favorite person, but I can sort of tolerate her. By the way, we'll always tolerate you if you show up to our live stream every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. All you got to do is tap our profile and you're in. And we might even be live right now. But before you check,
got a little bit left.
Consolidate our thoughts and finish the story because there's a little bit left.
OP's being too nice about handing out these invitations. Yeah, he's very nice handing out all these invitations for his wedding. I mean, I don't know. There's no flaw in any of OP's logic here. I haven't seen anything.
OP is right in everything that they've done so far.
Yeah, I'm taking notes.
It's not his fight. It's just so unfortunate that his brother just dropped the ball so hard.
This happened.
And it's an emotional moment, but
yeah.
And they don't even know that it's not his kid. It's just suspect.
Yeah.
You'd at least want the paternity test, right? Like that's
it's
insane to me that wasn't done before the blow up and the pullback. Like,
yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
That's
to me.
really weird.
So shout out to you for not letting your brother like further alienate what could very well be his own child. Regardless, you're the good uncle. You're the kagunkle.
Yeah,
because you're the cool gay uncle. Let's finish this story. To answer the question about his bio dad, my nephew has expressed zero desire to meet him. He says he doesn't get why people think a perfect stranger could replace my brother, like being abandoned out of the blue never happened. And again, still don't know for a fact whether or not this is his kid or not. Maybe there is a visual distinction that we are not tuned into because we're just reading the story.
Yeah.
Like maybe they are identical copies of one another.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, this is literally your kid.
It's like, I can tell.
Yeah.
But
what if I told you my dad isn't actually my dad?
What if you told me your dad isn't actually your dad? I wouldn't know what to say.
Would you believe me?
I mean, you'd have to show me first. My nephew RSVP'd yes and is taking his they friend. His significant other is non-binary, and that's what they're calling themselves. So fingers crossed for a happy ending. And that is the end of that story.
All right.
Dude.
I took notes.
You might as well adopt the nephew, man.
Yeah, dude.
You're a better father to him than his own father was.
And then you could be K Grunk dad.
Kagrunkle father.
Grunkle
Or
father.
Father Kagrunkle.
We have never had a Grunkle father here before.
I don't think we've ever told a story with a Kagrunkle father before. Cool gay uncle father.
Yes.
Dude, that's awesome. But that is the end of that story. My brother's best man speech is full of insults about me. They gaslit me when I confronted them. That's right.
How dare they?
My youngest brother, let's call him Phil, got married today, and the ceremony was absolutely beautiful. His bride was stunning, and everything was great and well done. His best man was our other brother, who I'll call Jack. My wife and I weren't part of the wedding party, which is fair because we didn't ask them to be in ours 5 years ago. By the way, this comes from user Death Angel 2010 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, after the ceremony, we did the pictures and a cocktail hour. It was nice to talk to some of our town family and old family friends, and Jack and I were talking about the day they all had, very eventful for my now sister-in-law, but that's another story. And then everybody was called inside for the reception. We go in and have dinner. My wife and I were starting to get kind of tired, but I told her I really want to hear Jack's best man speech, so we agreed to wait. I wish we hadn't. Jack goes up, introduces himself, and starts his speech. Quote, well, about 34 years ago, Mom and Dad got married and decided to try for kids, and they started with the prototype, my older brother. I should have known where this was going. He continued, they realized that, hey, they can do better. So they got it right the second time. With me. Mr. Perfect, and I was. Our grandfather would call me Crusher because I would beat up on my older brother as a toddler. We were always opposites and didn't really get along a whole lot, so Mom and Dad decided they needed someone to help him out, and so they had this guy. Now, when he came around, I was like, yeah, he seems all right. So growing up, we terrorized my older brother. Good times. He continued his speech, but I was kind of mentally checked out at that point. I was and still am really upset about it because I have always been the butt of all the jokes in my family. My brothers, my cousins, even my parents. I'm the different one. I'm very emotional and empathic, which is a blessing and a curse. I'm overweight and they're both athletes. Phil actually works for an NHL team. Yeah, he's probably an equipment manager. Dork. I enjoy D&D, reading, and being a nerd. Yeah. At least you do all the cool stuff. Phil is cleaning grown men's hockey pads. And think about that for a second.
Stinky.
They like sports and outdoor activities. You get the idea. I get up and my wife goes to the bathroom before we decide to leave. Jack finds me and is like, "Are you good? I meant to say at the beginning of my speech that I apologize because my older brother is probably going to get upset." Which doesn't make it better. That makes it worse. You know that you're going to make him upset. I just look at him and say, "You're good. But I would have appreciated a heads up that that's what you were going to do." He looks at me and just goes, "Well, if I did that, I wouldn't have gotten a genuine reaction." I just walked away, met my wife, and we left. I asked her, am I crazy? Was his best man speech really just a ton of shots taken at me? She said, it seems like he was trying to be funny, but not everything landed. And yes, you were the butt of his jokes. I drove home pretty much in silence. I'm tired of always being the butt of all the family jokes. We're supposed to have lunch with extended family tomorrow, and the only reason I'm going is because I only see these family members maybe once a year. I don't want to see Jack or really anyone else from my immediate family. Do I have a right to be upset, or am I being overly sensitive? You do have a right to be upset. However, I will say this. And it's not, again, you do have the right to be upset. We all have a right to the way that we feel. However, I think the optimal way to get this behavior to stop is to not even let it be acknowledged, right? Just almost like, but at this point, it's been so long that I don't know if the dynamic will change, even if you do start to ignore this sort of toxic, behavior. Yeah, exactly. And if that stops working, maybe they'll, they'll quit. Or they might go harder and make it worse. It's really, yeah, these people are just trash, man. It sucks. Minute Box 3852. Here's the real deal. His parting remarks to you as you were leaving shows he meant to hurt you. He wanted that hurt reaction. He literally said it. Translation, I kind of like you, but I must have the stage. And if my moment in the spotlight is at your expense, I'm going to make it count. He's the type of person whose favorite motto should be, you'll get over it. I am bro Keitho. Weird to focus a wedding speech on someone who isn't getting married. Very weird. He's got deeper problems and obviously isn't going to work on those. Murphy, 2345 678. Or I guess 2345678. If it gets brought up tomorrow, OP should say something like, yeah, it was kind of weird of you that you focused so much on me during Phil's wedding. You still trying to one-up me? I thought you had grown past that. And we do have an update. So, before I talk about the lunch, I'll share what happened to the bridal party as it becomes relevant why Phil didn't come. So, the bridal party was careened by a pickup right outside the venue. The truck was going 55 and the girls were stopped. Both vehicles were totaled, but they were adamant to go on with the ceremony and got checked out later. Which is, guys, if you ever get in a giant car accident, go to the hospital. It's okay. So Phil took his wife to the hospital today. No major injuries, thankfully. Yeah, thankfully. You should have gone to the if you get hit by a car, go to the hospital. So, on to lunch. Oh, Sam, you missed it. My wife sat down with the family, and we were all chatting. At one point, my uncle goes, Phil's speech was very sweet. I couldn't have given that without crying. My mom says, yeah, he had something prepared because he practiced it with me and he changed it after the wreck. Jack piped up, hey, I had a good speech too. My dad just said it was a good speech. It was all about OP. I just got angry and said I thought it was weird that it was so focused on someone who wasn't even involved at the wedding. He and my dad got quiet and then just continued their conversations with the people next to them. Nice. I avoided eye contact with Jack and we left about 15 minutes later. My wife and I went home and just proceeded to relax since we're finally getting a break from our students. We teach upper elementary. Jack tried to call me once. I let it ring. He didn't leave a voicemail, and then about an hour later, my grandma called asking how lunch was, and she could tell I was upset in my voice. When she asked what's wrong, I told her about being upset with Jack, and she said, I don't think your brother meant it. I just go, then why bring it up? This is all the time. And then everyone wonders why my wife and I don't come around as often or leave early at events. I'm tired of it. She was calm and said, well, your brother can't give a speech and he thinks is funny, but he can't make jokes without insulting someone. Have you told him and your parents how you feel? I said, yes, and that hasn't changed for years. She just says, y'all are going to have to work this out. I told her that I don't want to talk to him right now, and she goes, I know, I understand. You and I are just the afterthought kids. Grandma and I are two peas in a pod and very similar. So that's where we're at. Thank you for the comments and the DMs, and we have a second update. Update number 2.
Update.
Jack tried to gaslight me. I let things sit for a few days and decided that I was in a good headspace to send Jack a text. Hey, I've seen your missed calls, and I am not ready to have a conversation right now. I need you to know that you really hurt me on Saturday. Your speech was nothing but jabs at me for laughs in front of family and friends. Then you tell me that you don't give me a heads up because you wanted a genuine reaction out of me, and that made me feel even worse. I have been upset all weekend about this because nothing that was said felt like it was about Phil and his new wife, but about how you would take shots at me growing up and then got Phil to join you. I told you that we were good at the reception because I wasn't going to make a scene at Phil's reception. They already had a rough day. But then for you and Dad to bring it up again Sunday at lunch, and for Dad to even admit that the speech was all about me, it brought the hurt out to the surface, and I couldn't stay quiet. You and Phil are my brothers, and I will always love you too. Right now, though, I can't have a conversation with you while I'm this hurt. I can be civil and cordial with you at family gatherings, but nothing more. These jabs and prods at my expense have gone on too long, and they continue to drive a wedge between us. I'm asking for 2 things. 1, please stop with the teasing and jokes at my expense. 2, give me some time to cool off from this. Time will help to mend this, but right now I'm not ready for that conversation. I'll see you on Thursday. I love you.
Oh my God.
I have a feeling that most of this has fallen on deaf ears.
All right, let's finish up this story.
OP, which is good. OP just clearly communicated exactly how I felt, which is normally very good. However, I feel like this is about to be used against you in every possible way. Here's the response a few hours later. I've talked to a bunch of people about this already, and everyone I talked to said that there was nothing wrong with my speech, and I didn't say anything to degrade you or your character. I think you took everything I said way out of context, and you are like way overthinking everything. Like, you should just think about hockey more like me. The other thing I was also told is that the best man speech is supposed to be a joke and never taken seriously. Dude, I don't even know anything about weddings, and I know that that's not true. That is completely not true. Also, I've been told by many people that they have heard similar speeches.
Oh my God.
Mom and dad wanted a child, then they had me, the perfect child, and the third one was a complete accident. Nothing I said was hurtful or demeaning. Also, why is it that if they said if I took you out and said our cousin's name or someone else, then the speech is fine? That tells me that you personally think there is a lot of truth and you really don't know how to actually just have a laugh. Growing up, I always hated that stupid nickname Crusher, and you know that. What was said that was so hurtful exactly? And Dad never said the speech was about you. You literally in the speech was like, yeah, remember when we used to like totally rag on him because he like sucks and he was bad, and then I was born and I'm perfect, and like the third guy came along, I'm like, he's cool, so we like ganged up on the first guy. That's about your brother, stupid. I was angry and my wife could see I was on the verge of tears. I called my grandma and asked to go to her house to talk. When I got there, she goes, so what's up, kid? You know, Jack feels really bad about this situation. He was talking to me about it last night. And I go, really? Because that's not what this text says. I read her the conversation and she just goes, he's a booty. He's a booty hole that doesn't want to admit that he's wrong. We talked for a little while longer, and she's like, you are not overreacting here. If this was a one-time thing, I would say you are, but you have been putting up with this crap your whole life. We finished talking. I helped her fix her phone to the car connection and went home. Not feeling better, but feeling validated. I love just the little sprinkle of like grandma tech support there. It's like, we finished talking. I assisted her connecting her phone to her car Bluetooth for the 17th time. And then I went home. A few hours later, Phil called. We were checking in on how his wife was doing. And she goes, like I got hit by a truck. See, now that's the way that you phrase that. LOL, I'm glad she can kind of laugh about it. He goes, we actually wanted to check on you and see how you were doing. We noticed you guys had left at some point without saying goodbye. I apologized for it and told him no, I wasn't okay. I read him and his wife the text messages, and his wife just goes, that's BS. We talked yesterday and I ripped into him. His speech was not appropriate and you were definitely targeted. Phil added in, at first I didn't see a problem, but when the two of us drove home and talked, I could see how it could have been taken. And we're both really sorry that was done at your expense. But you know what I'll never be sorry for that's done at Max's expense? Him donating every last dollar to his name to the stream whenever we go live at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube and Facebook, and also Twitch and TikTok. You could, all you gotta do is tap our profile.
Just tap
and you
our
are
profile.
in, and we might even be live right now. Yeah, let's finish this one off. We talked a little longer and ended with his wife saying, we've got your back on this one. Jack is a bully, and I get why you and your wife don't come around as often because you don't want to be around that. Just know that IDGAF what his opinion is, and a lot of the time when you guys leave things, I call him out on his crap, and he says to you and about you. Phil echoed her sentiment, and we said goodbye, and we'll see each other Thursday for Thanksgiving. And that is the end of that story.
Whew.
And again, yeah, it's like, you know, your brother's bullying you.
Mm.
You don't need to put up with that.
No way.
No.
My brother stole our robot mop, so we changed the locks on him. My brother, Chris, 27-year-old male, fake name, moved in with my boyfriend, 28-year-old male, and I, 26-year-old female, 7 years ago. We took pity on him after he was kicked out of my childhood home for substance use and was sleeping in his car. By the way, this comes from you, Dwight Schrute Beats, on the ROK Storytime subreddit. So, at first, Chris and my boyfriend got along great. After a few years of living together, Chris became more reclusive and distant from us both. Chores were not being done around the house, and I was getting sick of cleaning up after him and his negative attitude. 6 months prior to the end of our lease, I told Chris that he had to find another living situation. He did finally move out a few weeks prior to the end of our lease, and I thought we all agreed about splitting up shared appliances and valuables. One thing we did not discuss was our shared robot mopping device. We acquired this one day at my grandmother's house a few years ago. She was moving and offered it to all three of us as she would not be using it. So we brought that little robot home. This thing is nothing fancy, just a small device you fill with cleaning solution and attach disposable mop pads. Let me be clear. In the 4 years we've had this thing, Chris has not once paid for any replacement mopping pads. Never had ever turned the thing on. It was always boyfriend or I splitting the cost of pads and setting this thing up to run nightly so we'd all wake up to clean floors downstairs. Chris hasn't returned his key because he's still slowly moving out. It's been over a month now. He always showed up unannounced to our home to gather boxes and his belongings. Sometimes we wouldn't even realize he was there while we had been out. Last night, boyfriend was looking for our little...
That's why he's been taking so long. He's a thief.
Last night, boyfriend was looking for our little robot friend as we had just got new pads delivered for it. Turned out, after going crazy looking for his thing and texting Chris, he did take it, claiming, yeah, this was the last straw. We had been so accommodating to this man for years. I just can't believe Chris had the audacity to take our beloved robot cleaning friend without a word. That's a kidnapping right there.
Yeah.
I have let Chris know that we are no longer comfortable with him coming by unannounced, and if he needs anything, we will look for it ourselves. I also said he could return his key to the office, and we will pick it up. His response: it's about to get dirty.
It's about to get
Yeah,
real.
at least the mop's not here.
Stop being weird. I don't want any of your trash crap. I already had all of my useful grow equipment stolen anyways. Stop texting me before you make me mad. The grow stuff referred to here is indoor greenhouse and hydroponics, which was verbally agreed for an even split of materials since both Chris and boyfriend acquired the equipment together. So he already
Split that.
agreed that it was going to be split.
Weird
So
man.
boyfriend ordered a camera that will be here tomorrow. I've contacted the leasing office to make them aware of the animosity between us and requested the locks to be changed. I just want to know, am I going too far? This robot is not at all expensive, but it's more about the principle to me. I feel disrespected. We all have to see each other next week for Thanksgiving, and I know it will be awkward. Some of OOP's comments. Commenter, not the a-hole. Your freeloading brother took the final step over the line. Whoa, came in hot. OOP, I appreciate your reply. Thanks for taking the time to read. I agree he's a freeloader and an arrogant one at that. Living situation. He's officially moved out more than a month ago now and has his own new residence. Also, we have only been staying at this townhouse for 1 year and a month. We had all moved out together from our previous living situation. The robot. We absolutely love this robot. One of my boyfriend and my favorite pastimes was to get stoned and watch this little guy go back and forth cleaning our floors.
So there is an emotional bond.
There is. I almost feel like this was intentionally taken from us to prevent enjoyment and as an intentional inconvenience. Commenter, you took in a substance user. What did you expect? OOP, I thought I had almost lost my brother, so that had probably clouded my judgment. It was an unintentional overuse from a laced substance.
Whoa.
Was supposed to just be psilocybin. That's what I was told. Did he tell you? He told me the story being kicked out, but it was corroborated by my mom and siblings. It does seem like he didn't realize what the substance actually was, but I guess play stupid games, win stupid prizes fits. Commenter, has he ever taken any responsibility for what got him kicked out? Or was it never his fault? What kind of housemate was he? Boyfriend was very patient because that's a lot of drama no one needs. Have you apologized to boyfriend for disrespecting his home? OP, the main reason we wanted him to move out was space for boyfriend and I as a couple. We're planning an engagement soon and want to move on with our lives. He was quite weird to live with, especially towards the end. Didn't clean up the mess on the stove or coffee area after himself. I don't think he took out the trash once, and I had to ask. So there was some communication around like, we need you to do some stuff.
And he still wasn't doing it.
I've apologized to my boyfriend for letting this go on for so long, but I should really put a note on something together for him. Thanks. Also, it was a mutual decision.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you actually mean by getting kicked out, and yes, he fully admitted that he was at fault for the substances. As far as I know, he doesn't do hard substances, only legal, Mary J, and psychedelics. Your brother's an a-hole who seems to have some entitlement and anger management issues. I go no contact with him ASAP. OOP, we were low contact as it was a while living together. We hardly spoke at all, and he would walk in and ignore us, no hello or goodbye. Commenter, please tell me you charged him some sort of rent. OOP, oh yes, originally we all stayed in boyfriend's childhood home and we didn't have rent, so he didn't either. But when we all moved on to rented spaces, he did contribute 1/3. What does he want with the robot anyways? He only wants the mopping robot now that he has hardwood floors now. But we've always lived in a house where this robot was useful. He just didn't want to contribute to our shared space. He also had the audacity to say his contributions to cleaning the floor was the robot itself. That was given to us and we did not pay for.
He did not pay for it.
Update. I decided to reach out to my brother and ask him nicely to bring our robot to Thanksgiving so we could bring him back home. Here's the messages so far. Me, I've gotten some time to think about this and gotten some different perspectives. I don't believe the robot belongs to you. I really appreciate it if you could bring it with you to Thanksgiving so we could bring it back home. I feel as though we've been very accommodating to you over the years you've lived with us, and taking a shared appliance without any discussion is not only disrespectful, but shows your lack of consideration for us. So we'd like our robot back, since really he is ours after years of using and upkeeping without any help from you. Chris, I've gotten some time to think about, and I want the TV from grandma's as well. So go ahead and bring it over when you get a chance.
This is a
Thanks.
ransom.
I don't think so. I think it's just
hostage.
I think it's more
It's
like
a hostage situation.
I think it's more like an F you, give me the TV, and I'm gonna keep the robot. That's how I read
he's
it.
not even going to give it back.
What do you think, Keon?
It's not his robot. I mean, he's like it's.
No. What do you think
Oh.
he means by?
Yeah, it's a hostage situation.
You
I
think
think
he's
so.
saying?
Yeah.
I'll-
Give me the ransom money. Give me the ransom for grandma's TV, and no one gets hurt.
OP responded in text. TV was also given to us specifically. I'm not sure why you think that's yours as well. ? Chris, everything was given to you. Apparently, she asked me if I wanted the robot while I was in the kitchen, and I said yes. That's how it went. End of story. I don't give two craps what you think is yours or not. If I let you borrow something because I'm not using it, it doesn't make it yours. Okay, so brother's coming in with a new story here.
He's got new facts.
New facts
I don't buy
coming in,
him.
but we don't know if they're facts.
I don't buy him.
P says, as I remember it, we were all there at the time she offered, and I even tried to decline since it's still useful, but she insisted. It was given to all of us as a shared household. If you think it was yours, you should have had discussions with us first before taking it while we were out. Chris, you remember wrong, and I don't need to have a discussion about my own things. Not to mention boyfriend moving shady, taking crap out of the tent while I was gone, thinking I wouldn't notice. LOL. How is that any different? I didn't bring it up because I'm a bigger person and I don't really care anymore. I want to put this terrible part of my life behind me. And if you don't leave it be, I'm going to leave you behind as well.
Dang.
We're,
All this over
we're escalating
the
here.
most important thing, the robot.
Question we have.
Mm-hmm.
Question I have. Is he just escalating out of the blue and this is like totally ridiculous? Or is there some things we don't know about OP mistreating the brother.
There's always two sides of the story.
There's always two sides. We don't know the other side of this story. He said I want to leave this terrible part of my life behind. Why is it terrible? Is he making it up? Or maybe he was mistreated.
Maybe.
We don't know. Me, you and boyfriend had a discussion about splitting up the gross stuff, which he thought went amicably. You aren't being very mature, and I don't want someone that can't have a simple conversation about shared items in my life anyways. Woo. So I guess that's it. Looks like we will not be getting our little friend back. You're going to be okay?
No.
Thank you all for your support and interacting with this post. This was my second post ever, and to see it blow was a crazy feeling.
No. You're telling me we went through that whole story and you don't even get your child back?
2 hours later. Actually, after the convo boyfriend just had with him, we might be seeing our friend again soon.
Woo!
Look out next Thursday for an update. Update number 2.
Woo!
Hello again. I just wanted to start by saying thank you for all your judgments on my last post. I read every comment and gave each perspective some thought. Ultimately, you guys helped me gain the confidence to stand up for myself and ask for our robot back.
Fight.
I included my text conversation with my brother Chris in the comments to my last post. To summarize, I asked as politely as I could for our mopping robot back, as well as stated the reasons why it belonged to us. Chris refused to see reason and pretty much said he would be cutting me out of his life if I keep bringing this up. My wonderful boyfriend couldn't sit back and let him be disrespectful to us anymore. He had his own conversation with Chris, which for privacy reasons cannot be shared.
Dang.
Was this through text? Over the phone?
Was it an in-person combo?
I think it was over text. Boyfriend ended up taking some of your guys' advice and threatened to reveal specific information to our family if our robot was not returned on Thanksgiving. This was last Thursday, so we had 1 week to make a decision. After a quiet week, I was preparing myself to drop a gosh darn bomb on family dinner. But then I went out to start warming up my car Wednesday night, and there was a box on my front.
Oh my
step.
God.
I didn't order anything, and as I picked up the box, noticed it wasn't sealed. And if you want to seal your lips and not share a word, join us live on YouTube and Facebook every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. We're probably live right now.
Go
Was
check.
that a threat?
Just tap our profile.
Did you just threaten everyone?
I guess Chris decided that a mopping robot was not worth ruining his reputation with our family. He will not be bothering us anymore, and we will be low/no contact from now on.
Dang.
Are you happy with that?
I mean, it sounds like honestly, I can't imagine their relationship was that strong before this, you know? Like, this must have been just like a...
Like, just the final straw situation?
Mm-hmm.
Now a positive from all this drama. Boyfriend and I are utilizing our new home monitoring cameras to watch our pets. Our dogs and cats' activities while home alone are so entertaining. It's brought us a lot of joy to check in on them. Family photo will be posted in comments of pets and robot. Image description. OOP's 2 pups, a cat and the robot. Now it's done.
My brother-in-law wanted to bring his secret girlfriend to our wedding. I forbid it.
The wedding reveal? That's a hard reveal right there. Not so secret.
Yeah, she's not going to be secret after that.
Mm-mm.
My husband, male 29, and I, female 27, have been debating putting this on here for a while, but something happened today that we thought we would like your opinion on something.
This is fresh.
This just happened.
This just dropped.
All identifying details will be removed as a precaution. Be prepared, this is a long one, and we will post updates as they happen. By the way, this comes from user NoFilm6737 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, now for the backstory. My husband's parents are divorced. The reason for their divorce was cheating. The cheating happened not long after father-in-law's mother, my husband's grandmother, passed away from cancer some years ago. She was sick for a long time, but the loss was hard on everyone, especially my father-in-law, male 55. My mother-in-law was going through her own difficult time, and neither of them were in a great position to support each other. My father-in-law, as a result, sought solace elsewhere, and while nobody condones what was done, there has been some understanding because of the mitigating circumstances. My father-in-law was reasonably wealthy, but in the messy divorce, the court fees, lawyers, and work complications, and the division of assets, my father-in-law lost most of his wealth, and had to live very frugally after that. Since the remarriage, father-in-law started working for himself and has gradually regained his wealth, which will become
Okay.
relevant later.
Riches to rags to riches.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
welcome to America.
Yes, sir.
A few years later, my father-in-law gets remarried to another woman. She was aware of the circumstances surrounding his last divorce, but very much got his side of the story. They were, by all accounts, happily married, and the cheating looked like a one-off mistake that he had learned from. A little over 2 years ago, my brother-in-law, male 24, decided he was going to pursue a career as a professional soccer player in the UK. While he had been talking about wanting to do this for a while, it went from ideas to leaving in a month rather suddenly.
Oh.
My husband, then boyfriend, and I thought it was a little odd at the time, but just chalked it up to when opportunities present themselves and left it at that. About 6 months later, step-mother-in-law went to visit brother-in-law in London and help him set himself up. Up until this point, he was living with family and friends in the UK on a supposedly short-term basis, but 6 months had passed and he hasn't converted his driver's license or found a job or signed with a team or found a place of his own.
In his defense, it's only been like 6 months, right?
Well, I mean, 6 months is probably a long enough time to get some kind of momentum going. there.
Six months. Not that long.
Anyway, let's get back. He was very happy for father-in-law to bankroll his new life in London.
Of course.
After this visit, contact with brother-in-law quickly fizzled to nothing.
Really?
My in-laws would text us asking if we had heard from brother-in-law, but the answer was always no. Before the communication tapered off to nothing, we assumed he was off finding his own life and happy for him to do so. Not long after step-mother-in-law got back, hubby proposed and we began wedding planning.
Hey.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Historically, hubby and brother-in-law were close, so hubby naturally asked brother-in-law to be his best man, and he accepted. Wedding planning was complicated for a couple of reasons. We live in Australia, and hubby and I live on the other side of the country to hubby's parents and extended family, and hubby's surviving grandparents are sickly and frail and wouldn't travel well. Further to this problem, I grew up outside of Australia, and my family would have to travel internationally to attend, which they weren't keen on. Just for reference, the distance between our city and hubby's family is about a 5-hour flight. To try and make things as fair as possible, we decided to host the wedding in our city, so that way everybody needed to travel. Hubby's grandparents would have a domestic 5-hour flight, and my grandparents, who are a little more able, would have an international 9-hour flight. Lots of flight time here.
There is a lot of flight time,
Yeah.
and I don't know if the grandparents who are described as frail are able to do a 5 to 9 hour flight.
Well, a 5-hour flight across Australia is definitely better than the drive. That's those are your two options. Either that or get on a boat, which is also probably not going to happen.
I'm just saying, any travel at all might be a lot.
It's going to be rough. My extended family, with the exception of my granny, decided they could not be bothered to come, which is another story for another day. And hubby's grandfather's health deteriorated, but by this point, it was too late to cancel. So we did a small wedding here for my family and our friends and do a vow renewal type thing in hubby's family city for his grandparents' benefit. Last year, I got the impression that hubby's stepmom wasn't doing well, but she wouldn't share why, and this went on for months. At first, I thought it was just the lack of contact between brother-in-law and the family, but then she changed her last name on Facebook to her maiden name, and that clued me into the fact that it was more to do with the marriage than brother-in-law. When this happened, I spoke to her again to see if she was okay and asked her what was going on, but she continued to insist that she couldn't tell me, and I left it at that.
There seems to be like a lot of things going on in the shadows.
Yeah,
here.
well, now it's like the Facebook drama of like changing your relationship status from like single or like together to like it's complicated.
Yeah.
Like,
And you're like, is there anything going on?
Low
She's
key,
like,
it's kind of what she
"Oh."
did. She like changed her maiden name. She's like, no, what? Nothing.
She's like,
It's-
why are you asking?
yeah,
Everything's
I can't
great.
tell you.
Dandy.
Everything's fine. I can't tell you. In June of last year, brother-in-law, out of the blue, decided to visit for the first time since moving to the UK in April of 2022. He was coming to attend a friend's wedding, but expected father-in-law to fund his last-minute travel expenses. Hubby and his stepmom were against this, but father-in-law did it anyway. Hubby and I were then asked to visit them. While we had no objections to the visit, we were short on money at the moment and couldn't afford the flights. Father-in-law then generously offered to pay for the tickets, and we duly went. The point of the trip was for hubby to mediate the tense relationship between brother-in-law and their parents and hopefully go some way to mend that relationship. I felt like it wasn't my place to get in the middle of his family drama, but hubby didn't want to go without me. It was clear that the relationship between brother-in-law and stepmother-in-law has deteriorated substantially, but previously they were very close. Stepmother-in-law felt like brother-in-law had replaced her with the family friends he was staying with in London and felt that he was hiding something. But beyond that, details were vague. He's hiding his secret family in the UK, apparently.
As everyone does.
Yeah, everyone, Riley always says, it's like you're allowed one secret family as a warm-up.
Okay.
Before you actually get married.
That's fair. And well, in every country.
Well, yeah, I think.
Or is it like in general, or just like, you know, I get a family in Portugal, I get a secret family in the UK.
I think in every country we might be a little generous.
Okay.
But
you get 5 secret families, but they have to each be in a different country.
Yeah, and each one has to go better than the last one, probably. Yeah, if you start to backslide on your secret family quality, I think it's time to call it quits. He seemed to have promising leads with a team that was going to sign him and was focused on starting his career, or at least that is what he told us.
Hey, to all the naysayers, i.e. Dakota.
Hold on.
Dakota.
Hold on.
He's doing it.
We've got more story for him to turn into a liar, so let's figure that out.
You better hope.
After a few days, hubby and I flew home, and a couple days after that, brother-in-law went home, promising to put more effort into keeping in contact and to be back for our wedding. The contact promise was short-lived. Almost as soon as he left, it dropped off again.
Dang.
We found out later that brother-in-law has been dating the daughter of these family friends, which are even more wealthy than father-in-law, and found himself in a rather comfortable position where he gets to sponge off of them too. They fund all sorts of lavish European holidays and gifts, and has given him their shopping car, which is a Porsche.
Oh.
Yeah, so brother-in-law is not doing anything. Brother-in-law's team is his, like, the parents of his partner right now.
But he found a great secret family. You gotta admit. This is a fantastic secret family.
I think does it count if you just get taken in as, like, a refuge? Like, a refugee? Like, this is your refugee. Oh, son, you don't even know what it's like to be rich. We'll let you go shopping in the Porsche.
I think that's why you find a secret
like a
family to be taken in. And
this is usually it's the other way around. This family has taken him in as a secret, like, son.
Count your blessings.
So after father-in-law and stepmother-in-law found him an apartment to rent in London and paying the rent for him for over a year, he decides that he's going to move back in with the family friends because he wants to live with his girlfriend. As far as brother-in-law knows, hubby and I are unaware that he even has a girlfriend. Around Christmas last year, we finally got to the bottom of what's going on between father-in-law and stepmother-in-law. Turns out, as I'm sure some of you may have guessed by now, father-in-law was cheating.
Again.
No way.
I'm shocked.
But this man had to take it to a whole new level of gross. He was paying for the pleasure. Using wife swap websites, among others, and even had a couple on retainer so he could get preferential treatment. He would lie to my stepmother-in-law and say he was going to business meetings and seeing potential new clients when he would be going to different hotels, meeting with these women and leaving. As it turns out, father-in-law has always had a performance issue and needs pharmaceutical help in that department. There's no shame in this.
There isn't.
Let's not go out of our way to not shame the man cheating on his wife.
Yeah, we're just...
For God's sakes, we could shame this man. There is no shame in this. But why get the encouragement from your wife to see a doctor and get the medication only to use it on sex worker? Stepmother-in-law confronted him and after initially denying what happened, admitted it and said that he was glad she knew because now he doesn't have to lie about it.
He should have just, in the first place, he could have just been transparent, and it would have been so much easier to cheat on your partner if they helped.
The best way to cheat on your partner is to break up with them and then do whatever you want.
That's not cheating, Dakota. You don't understand.
That's why it's the best way to do it. Stepmother-in-law hired a PI and has all the receipts. because this initially sounded too insane to be true.
Wait,
She
wait,
threatened-
wait.
What?
He's like, I'm cheating on you, and she was like, I'm hiring a PI to prove you're cheating on me. He's like, no, I
I guess
am.
sometimes it's so unbelievable where it's like, sometimes you're like, I got to make sure you're not yanking my chain here.
This is either like an awful joke or this is a harsh
Maybe
reality.
she thought it was a secret family. She threatened to leave, but he is threatening her and
Oh.
saying that if she does leave, he will leave her destitute, which, considering Australia's new no-fault divorce policy, is actually possible. So on top of everything, we also have financial abuse.
Yeah.
Father-in-law is a tax lawyer, and we know how to get this done if we wanted to. Since her finding out, he is getting increasingly violent with her, which is not good, and hubby and I are concerned, but so far father-in-law doesn't know that we know, and letting on that we do could potentially endanger stepmother-in-law. Now stepmother-in-law is biding her time, consulting with counselors and lawyers, and trying to find an exit plan where she gets out safely
Jeez.
and hopefully not destitute.
This is scary.
When she does leave, we are seriously considering going no contact with father-in-law. So now we are about 3 months out from the vow renewal, and hubby talks to mother-in-law about her plan to visit for Christmas with sister-in-law and her fiance. And mother-in-law mentions that she's been in touch with brother-in-law. Mother-in-law is hosting the vow renewal on her farm, and we are currently in the planning stages. It is going to be small but beautiful, and hopefully as free from drama as we can manage. I think our free from drama plans might be optimistic because after not speaking to brother-in-law for over a year, he called mother-in-law asking if he can bring his girlfriend to the event. And by the way, you can bring your girlfriend to our event every weekday at 3 p.m. PST, which is when we go live
That
on
is
YouTube,
when we
Facebook,
go
TikTok,
live.
and Twitch.
Bring your girlfriend, your coworkers,
Bring them all.
their daughters, their sons.
All you have to do
your
is
cousins.
tap on our profile,
Just bring them all. Tap.
and you're in.
Okay.
So before we finish this story,
And we won't cheat on a single one of you.
oh, you know what? Actually, let's just finish this story. Yeah, we won't cheat on any one of you. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't cheat.
I wouldn't.
Yes, the girlfriend that we supposedly don't know he has. Mother-in-law, being the fabulous person she is, told him that he needs to ask hubby and I, and that it is not her decision to make. When we set out wedding planning, we made a nobody gets invited that we haven't met rule and are thinking of sticking with this. Hubby is a veteran and has some mental health issues as a result, and I have struggled with anxiety for most of my life. Current circumstances have resulted in his traveling well with mental health. So am I the a-hole? I don't even know what they're talking about. Are you the a-hole for not wanting to invite your brother-in-law's like secret girlfriend no one knows about? Out of everything in this story,
It's like
that is what the hook ended up being.
the one note about like what's like really not the point of the story at all is like the
There's
title.
so much in here that we didn't need.
Yeah.
You know what? And that's the end of that story. I'm sorry.
I've never seen you this upset.
Everyone's upset I left my brother stranded. It's because what he wanted was illegal.
If the cops aren't watching, nothing's illegal.
So I, 24 female, went to a festival with my boyfriend, 26 male, and my uncle, 52 male. It was for the whole weekend, and my uncle lives in a truck with a horse trailer, which is now converted into a motorhome. He's not poor, he just loves the lifestyle with his 2 small dogs. By the way, this comes from Princess Bambi 2000 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So it's worth mentioning that I'm not super close with my older brother, 31 male, because he's hard work, selfish, and emotionally draining. You'll see why. That being said, he's still my brother. We didn't plan to go with my brother, and it was sheer coincidence that he was there at the same festival as us. We knew he was there, but he didn't know we were there initially, and we decided to have a good time whilst avoiding him like the plague. And then afterwards, we would have wanted it to go down like, OMG, I had no idea you were there. Small world, eh? That's not what happened. My boyfriend and I camped in a tent next to my uncle's truck, and despite the 12 hours of rain on the Saturday, we were all having a great time and did well to steer clear of my brother, who was there with his girlfriend. The festival was about a 2-hour trip from his hometown using public transport. That may not sound like much to people in the US or other bigger countries, but with the cost of travel in the UK and the inconvenience of catching trains and buses, it's really hard work. So on the Sunday evening, my brother spotted my boyfriend somewhere at the festival. Brother began calling me nonstop very late on Sunday night and early hours of Monday morning. I really just wanted to enjoy this last night, so I didn't respond. When I went to bed, he was still calling and messaging and didn't stop until I finally answered around 3 a.m. He gave me this whole story about how his girlfriend is awful because she wanted to hear certain music with her friends while he wanted to go to different stages for other music. Now, I understand group safety and all that, but if there was a group of friends, perhaps they could have split the group up, or he could have gone wherever he wanted and she would have been safe with her friends and they could meet up later. She never said they have to be right next to each other the entire time, but my brother seemed to want to stay with her every second. Anyway, my brother tells me the story about how awful she's been to him, although it mostly sounds like he's the difficult one. And it's 3 a.m. and I just want to sleep. So I said, maybe we can meet up for a cig, a coffee, and a hug before we all leave in the morning. And he responded with, yeah, that sounds really nice. I appreciate it, sis. And so I went back to sleep. When I woke up, I had loads more missed calls and messages from my brother, my mom, and my brother's friend who was not at the festival. Apparently, according to his friend and our mother, his girlfriend had left him stranded at the festival. Whoa. His phone was on low battery, so I guess he told his friend and mom what was happening so they could try and get through to me in the event that his phone died, which it did. I speak to friend and mom, and they tell me he's waiting at a specific landmark at the festival, and I need to go find him. Great. I'm a little hungover, but I go in search of my brother while my boyfriend packs the tent up, ready to leave. Okay, his girlfriend didn't leave him stranded. Instead, he got pretty pissed with her because she wanted to break up with him after his behavior at the festival, but she insisted that she'll still make sure he can get home okay. They can talk about it with a clear head when they're not hungover or coming down from substances. Brother didn't like this, and having confirmed that I was at the festival, decided to pack his crap because he didn't want to spend almost 2 hours in the car with that bee, and left her tent early hours of Monday morning to continue calling me. So he's just lying about the whole situation.
What the heck?
Yikes. Rather than calling a taxi to get him to a train station or whatever, he used all of his phone battery trying to track me down. He could have potentially left himself stranded in this big old field in the countryside. Of course, I know his girlfriend isn't the villain, but brother is the kind of person that me and the rest of my family have to tiptoe around to avoid annoying him. He punched doors in the past and broke them, and he's always blocking the entire family because of an argument with one of us, and then unblocking us when he feels better. Kind of loses the impact of blocking someone. So knowing that she probably did nothing wrong and she was the one who bought his ticket, I kept quiet during his rants and monologues, knowing that I'll ask my uncle to drive him home, since my uncle lives in the same town as him and my boyfriend's car is parked on uncle's land. However, there's only space in the cab of the truck for a driver and 2 passengers. It's illegal here to drive around with people in the back of a van or truck unless it is specifically set up for people to walk with ease between the cab and the back of the truck while the vehicle is moving.
John, you've been dancing a lot.
I'm going to give you a live demonstration and you're going to see it too.
Show me those hips. Oh, damn. That is a good move. But you know what is also an amazing move?
What is that, Sam?
Becoming an OK Storytime member.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Well, let's get back to the story.
It's a converted horse trailer, so obviously it's not set up that way. Uncle suggested that we put brother in the back and drive him to the nearest train station so he can complete the journey alone. He had travel fare, so that's not an issue. It's still illegal, but it's not driving for 2 hours under illegal circumstances illegal.
He could lay down in the bed of the truck.
He's fine.
I've done stuff like this before.
It was tough to persuade brother to understand that's the best we could do, but he settled for it under the condition that I sit in the back of the truck with him for the journey to the station so we can chat. We didn't chat the entire time. Instead, he was on the phone to all of his friends telling them how awful his now ex-girlfriend was. I thought we left on good terms, and although I often can't stand to be around him, he sounds like a nightmare if everyone hates him. I was glad he was safe, and I hugged him goodbye before he ran for his train. He messaged me to say he got home safely. It's been a couple of weeks now, and I currently have a pretty severe ear infection, which I suspect I got from the festival. Anyway, I've since been receiving hateful messages from my brother and mother for not driving him all the way home.
What?
Which I didn't understand because it wasn't my truck. It was my uncle's. Yeah, why is OP getting the flack?
That is kind of crazy.
He got home. He took the train. No one was stranded.
What?
I thought it was fine, but I guess maybe his toxic mind or some of his toxic friends, not all of them are toxic, have convinced him that I didn't try hard enough to persuade my uncle to illegally drive him all the way home. I get where he's coming from. Here's where I may be the a-hole. If we could illegally drive him to the station with no issues, why not the rest of the journey? Admittedly, I didn't want to be around him anymore, and he'd want me to sit in the back with him for the entire journey. I don't have the mental strength for that, and maybe that's my problem. But you guys will have a problem if you don't listen to more episodes like this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. Just search up OK Storytime, and then we won't have a problem. But there is a little bit left to the story, but do you have any final thoughts?
Hot take.
Hot take?
I'm disagreeing with OP.
Whoa.
If my brother was in a tight situation, even if I didn't like him, he could just stay in
But
the
she
back of the
hates
truck.
him. Like, he sucks.
But he'd be in the back of the truck laying down for 2 hours.
She said he would probably make her do it, like sit in the back of the truck too.
No. He's either sitting in the back of the truck or he's not coming.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
This is kind of a situation where, like, you know, you have had friends or something where there's too many people. And so someone's got to sit on someone's lap or something. And it's like that. And it's like, okay, if it's 10 minutes away, that's fine. But if it's a 2-hour trip, can't have someone sitting on people's lap because that's dangerous.
That
so I
is
feel
pretty
like that's
dangerous.
this situation.
Yeah,
If you already don't like your brother, it's like,
true.
yeah. Your mom and your brother can get over it. He got home. He's fine. When I said it's not my truck, they all started talking crap about my uncle. When I stood up for him, they said I'm in the wrong because he's not my real uncle. He's just my dad's friend of 30 plus years, and the safety of my brother should have been the top priority. They said I left him stranded in a strange town. He's like 30 and he took the train. He's fine.
Yeah.
Apparently, I just didn't try hard enough to convince my uncle to break the law for my brother's sake, and that makes me the a-hole. So am I the a-hole? P.S. He's my half-brother. We share a mother, but not a father, so he doesn't really know this uncle of mine. And comments, Not Sorry 2019 says he's totally right. He can never depend on you for anything, including illegal activity. He should remember that for the future and leave you alone. That's true. Yeah. Opie's like, yeah, you're right. I did really let you down. You should never rely on me.
There we go.
It's not you going no contact. It's him protecting himself from your evil, wicked ways of checks, notes, not promising him anything, or convincing people he doesn't know to break the law for him. Sarcasm on it being your fault. He's an idiot, and that is rarely curable.
Yeah.
Every requirement 13 says he sounds exhausting. Maybe it's time for you to block him. Your mother, too. Yeah, he sounds like he's and he's a
Yeah.
baby and he's 30 years old and he needs to
Grow up.
yeah, but I don't know if he will.
There's this thing called man-childism, and he's definitely got it.
He's got it. But that is the end of that story.
My brother was being awful to my sister-in-law while she was in labor, so I kicked him out.
Yeah, as you should. Why are you adding more labor to the woman who's already laboring?
That's a stinky move. Hi guys, before we go into this story, there's going to be a trigger warning. There is intense labor mentioned in this and needle talk as well. So if you do not like that or that makes you squirm, please go to another story. Don't worry, we have plenty of those. But again, that is the trigger warning. My mother called me this morning and asked me if I could please go to the hospital because my sister-in-law was in labor and had my mom kicked out of the room. I was confused and asked if my brother wasn't there with her. Mom said that he had been there, but sister-in-law had just called in panic because brother had a seizure and they had taken him down to the ER. She didn't want to be in labor alone. Mom had gone to work after being kicked out and didn't want to leave, so she called me. I reluctantly agreed to go, dreading family drama, but honestly was more concerned with sister-in-law. I understand not wanting to labor alone, having nearly had to do so myself during the vid. By the way, this comes from user No Statement 1642 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I got to the hospital and into the room right as they were trying to put an IV in sister-in-law. I saw the nurse stick it in sister-in-law. She missed and then start to fish, and sister-in-law started screaming. Immediately, I snapped at the nurse. Do not dig for a vein. The nurse stopped and I said, I wasn't digging. And sister-in-law begged her to take it out. Please don't poke me anymore. Stop torturing me. And the nurse said, we have to get an IV into you. You have strep B. If you don't let me get it into your arm, I'm going to have to go between your toes. Again, I stepped forward and said, don't scare her. Give her a minute, let her drink some water to hydrate, and try again. Do you have an IV team? The nurse was very nice and said, no, we're too small of a hospital for that, but I can get someone else to try. I then said, okay, and what about putting the IV higher up on the forearm where the veins are thicker? It will hurt less going in. She's less likely to bend it in her elbow or wrist while holding the baby or laboring. And you can numb it with some topical lidocaine before you stick it in her to help with her anxiety. The nurse said she would mention it to who she was going to get and then went out. When she was gone, sister-in-law wiped her face and said, "Thanks for saying something." She stuck me 6 times and missed every time. What is this hospital?
Nah, dude.
This is a nightmare hospital.
Going somewhere else, dude.
Then my brother came back from the ER and just sat in another chair quietly. I said that was quick, and all he said was, "I refuse treatment." The nurse returned with the nurse supervisor, who did what I asked, and she got the IV in one take and with much less pain. Sister-in-law then asked for some water, and I gave her some, which she promptly started to chug, and I snatched it away, advising her to take sips or she'd make herself sick. She apologized and said she knew, but she hasn't drank anything all night from pain. Brother chimed in and said, "That's her excuse for everything. Oh, it hurts too much. Oh, I'm in too much pain. I hurt too. My back hurts all the time. Every day, constantly. You don't hear me complaining." I just looked at him and said, "Labor pain is different." He scoffed and went, "Whatever. I try to talk about my pain, but it isn't important and doesn't matter." Again, I responded, "I didn't say that. I have fibromyalgia and inflammatory arthritis. I have chronic back pain too. My back hurts every day, constantly, and I've given birth twice. I'm telling you, it's not the same. I didn't say it wasn't important or that it didn't matter. I said it's not the same. Labor pain hurts in an entirely different way than that back pain does." Then a contraction hit, and sister-in-law started moaning and chanting that she wanted an epidural, and brother turned on her and said, "You can't have one. The doctor said you couldn't because your blood pressure is low and epidural can make it bottom out and make you need a C-section. Mom tried to tell you that, and you got pissed off and had her kicked out because you wouldn't listen." Sister-in-law yelled back, "I know I can't have one, but that doesn't stop me from wanting one. I had one with my other 2 kids. I've never had a natural birth before. I am scared." This is like a horror movie. I'm sorry. We need to do a graphical. This is a very graphical, intense story. The picture becomes clear. Mom probably did the same thing that the brother is doing and yelled at sister-in-law because she heard her wishing for an epidural, and sister-in-law asked her to leave. Brother continues, "You've been doing this crap all night, saying one thing and then 2 seconds later contradicting yourself."
Can we not be talking like this to the woman giving birth, please?
Can you not tell that this person, this woman in labor, is so stressed out, is frightened to heck?
Yeah.
And you're making it a trillion times worse. I stepped in again. Enough. There's no reason to be so nasty. Insert brother's name. This isn't your first child. You took parenting and labor classes. They tell you in those classes not to take anything a woman says in labor personally or to heart because she doesn't mean it. She is flooded with hormones and pain. You know that. Well, I already told her that if she couldn't control herself, to not expect me to control myself. I was going to be just as mean, as nasty as she is. OP says, "The nurses here aren't going to let you do that. They will remove you from here." This is the brother. "Well then, I'll just effing leave." OP, "Then leave now." OP looks at sister-in-law. "Has he been like this the whole time?" Sister-in-law says, "No. He's only been acting like this since he's had a seizure and hit his head, but I'm tired of it already. I want him to leave too. He's stressing me out." I turned back to my brother. "You heard her. You have 2 choices. Either go back down to the ER and tell them that your mood has completely changed since you hit your head during your seizure this morning and get yourself checked out and come back with an attitude adjustment, or go home and don't come back and miss the birth of your child completely." My brother just gave me a glare and said, "I could miss it if I go back down there." I held up my cell phone. "I'm here. If things start moving along, I'll call you to come back up here." Sister-in-law then said, "I'm only 2 centimeters. It's gonna be a while." Finally, the brother grumbled, "Fine," and left. After he was gone, sister-in-law said that she's been 2 centimeters for hours because brother wouldn't let her get out of the bed. I rolled my eyes and asked her if she wanted to get up. She said yes. So I helped her up and I put on some hip-hop music on my phone. She and I gently danced until contractions started getting closer. Then they brought her a ball to bounce and rock on for a while, and I finally got her onto the bed on her hands and knees in an elevated position that allowed gravity to help her, and I massaged her lower back every time a contraction hit. I then called brother because she was 6 centimeters, and from personal experience, this position moves those last 3 centimeters real quick. I got her from 2 centimeters to ready to push in 2 hours, where my brother had her stalled at 2 centimeters from midnight the night before, when her water broke until 9 a.m. when I told him to get out and go back to the ER. He then got into the room to see her fully relaxed and me rubbing her back and me telling sister-in-law that she needed to be ready because her contractions had stopped for about 5 minutes, meaning it was her body giving her a very brief rest to gather strength. She asked me what I meant and then started screaming something wasn't right. I asked what she meant, and she said she could feel a ton of pressure down there and that she had never felt that before with her other 2 births. I held her hand and told her everything was okay and that she was feeling the baby's head and that she hadn't felt it before because she had had epidurals before, but this is what a natural birth felt like and everything would be okay. My brother started running for the door and I said, "Where are you going?" And he said, "To get a nurse." I just said no and hit the call button. The nurse responded and asked how they could help, and I calmly said, "She needs to push. This baby is coming." My brother ran to the door, then came back and said, "The nurses are sprinting down the hall." And just then they came into the room. Sister-in-law whispered that she was scared. I rubbed my hand on her back and told her it was okay to be scared because she's never done this naturally before, but they were here. She was in good hands, and they were setting up the delivery table. Brother chose that moment to say, "You almost made me miss this." I just glared at him, but didn't answer because the doctor entered and said, "We're on our hands and knees." "Why?" And sister-in-law said, "Because it's more comfortable." I asked the doctor, "Is she not allowed to give her birth on her knees?" Doctor said, "It's just easier for me if she's on her back." I snapped back. "It doesn't matter what's easier for you. What matters is what mom wants as long as the baby isn't in danger." Then I turned back to sister-in-law and said in my calm and soothing voice I'd had with sister-in-law the whole time, sister-in-law's name, "Do you want to stay how you are, where it's comfortable, or get on your back so it's easier for the doctor?" Sister-in-law said, "I don't care. I just want this baby out of me." I said, "Okay, it's your choice." And sister-in-law squeezed my hand and said, "Can you help me roll over?" I said yes and helped her roll onto her back and then asked her if she wanted me to switch out with my brother since he was back. She hesitated a second, looking back and forth between us, and then said yes. I said okay. I told my brother to switch places with me, and while I stepped away, he said to go ahead and start calling the family members. By the way, I want you to start calling your family members to tell them about our episodes with stories just like this. Just tune into Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts anywhere. Just search OK Storytime. So before we finish the story, I'm at a loss for words here.
Yeah.
I'm brain fogged. What do we do here?
I think clearly the number one thing is they've kind of reached the point where everything's fine. The doctor has taken over. Everything's cool. If your brother has a medical emergency and starts acting differently, definitely continue to get tell him he needs to go get taken care of. That's crazy to me.
But let's go and finish the story. Hopefully it gets better. We're going to find out. Apparently, my brother had called my parents from the ER because they both said it was wrong of me to make him leave the delivery room and go back to the ER because what if he hadn't made it back in time and had missed the birth?
Hey, whoa, pause, because what if he just dropped dead from a brain bleed? What are we talking about?
Or what if he made it even worse in the delivery room?
Right. Also that. It's what?
But I still think I was in the right. I was advocating for my sister-in-law, for the mom. I personally have been through 2 traumatic births. Neither was the hospital's fault. The pregnancies themselves were difficult, and as stated above, I clearly have health problems, but I didn't have anyone to advocate for me. My husband is non-confrontational, and I was scared myself. So I know all too well how helpless it can feel to not have your voice heard while in labor. So, am I wrong?
No.
You were doing the right thing and you're doing the best thing. I guarantee you, once everything is said and done, everyone's gonna be like, you're the MVP.
Well,
I guarantee you, sister-in-laws be like, "Mom, you didn't help me. Brother or husband, you didn't help me. Sister-in-law helped me, aka OP.
Right.
OP helped me. She was the reason why I'm okay."
Yeah, and that's really the only opinion that matters.
And that is the end of that story.
My parents planned to leave almost everything to my disabled brother, so I cut them off.
That's your brother. Come on. You're being petty.
All right. My 24 female brother, 32 male, is a failure to launch.
What does that mean?
He's never been very smart. He did badly in school and never went to college. He tried 2 different trade schools, welding and mechanic, but he basically flunked out of both. He works at a gas station now. By the way, this comes from Away Jaguar 28 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. My brother and I are our parents' only children. They always treated us relatively equal until adulthood. They've always insisted we earn our way. They refused to pay for our college or anything. I joined the military at 17, got an associate's degree while in, and my GI Bill went towards my bachelor's. I'm working towards my master's now. My husband and I bought a house and have done well for ourselves. My parents, however, fully paid for my brother to try twice in trade school. They've given him cash when he was behind on rent and countless loans. They support him cosplaying as an adult. Meanwhile, they'll never paid for my wedding, education, nothing. I don't really care so much that they didn't give me money, but the disparity in how they treated me versus my brother. Our parents are now in their 60s, and while they aren't that old, they're both bad in health and probably won't live another 10 years.
OP, you're like the most negative person.
They just recently started working on their will and notified us that they are leaving almost everything to my brother, while they want me to be their medical power of attorney, manage their estate, etc. I told my parents to give my brother everything and that I'm completely done with them. They told me to have some grace and understand the fact that he isn't very capable and needs their support even after they're gone. Okay, first off, what are the conditions that the brother is in?
I need to know.
Does this guy like have autism, Tourette's, or like some kind of like learning disability, mental disability?
It could be. We just don't know the full capacity of it.
My mother had a doctor's appointment this morning and asked me for a ride since she medically can't work. I told her to ask her favorite child or pay for an Uber. Things have been tense and hostile. My brother called me to apologize and asked me not to be mad at him. And I told him that I'm not mad at him. I'm mad at our parents for not treating us equally, and he did nothing wrong. Am I the a-hole? I meant to put disabled in quotation marks. My mother refers to my brother as disabled, even though he isn't. She's had him tested for every kind of learning disability there is. He's just below average IQ. She thinks that still counts as a disability when it isn't. And we have some freaking comments to set OP straight, maybe, but he's just dumb, basically. Is that it? Info needed. Why can't your brother live with them? Help them, take them to appointments. Seems like the least he can do. Can he drive? Is he disabled or just lazy? OP replied, they don't want to ask him. He's forgetful and they probably wouldn't have been able to rely on him all anyways. Comment 2. He does not sound disabled to me if he went to 2 different trade schools. Welding and mechanic, just lazy. Odds are, if he gets the money, it'll not last him long. Then he'll be looking for you to pay his bills. OP replied, he's not disabled, but he's very unintelligent and has poor critical thinking skills. He doesn't really understand how to manage money at all, despite having been taught how. Another reply, if it's his IQ that it's that low, it's intellectual disability. An IQ below 75 is considered intellectually impaired. It doesn't excuse the implied favoritism. OP responds, when they tested us, mine was 131, I believe, and his was around 80. It's been so many years, I'm having a hard time remembering. It's definitely above the cutoff for being considered intellectually disabled, because I remember them being surprised that he scored above it. Oh, man. And then another reply that's pretty low. They may be right. He just isn't capable of normal adulting, and he needs significantly more help. We have updates a little bit more about the brother. Just seems like he's not intellectually all there.
Yeah, I mean, he's right around the cusp. And again, I understand the favoritism. That's not an excuse, but I feel like you're looking at it that in a different way. I get it. You're like, oh, I'm not mad at you, brother. But it kind of seems like you're mad at your brother, too. You're definitely mad at your parents, which makes sense. That's fair. But you like, oh, they have 10 years to live, whatever. Those are your parents.
Yeah, come on. She's just furious. And it seems like the brother's nice, too. He apologized. I appreciate that. Well, not like that I appreciate that, but like it just shows his character.
Yeah, he's not being selfish. He's like, I'm not asking for this, but like I'm sorry that I cannot, do things my own, or like I keep screwing up. Like I wish I couldn't. I wish there was a better way or easier way, but sometimes it just happens.
Update. So the consensus on my post was a bit of a mixed bag. I sat down with my parents and I wanted to give an update and answer some stuff. My brother is actually not disabled. He just has a low IQ, just over 80. You need an IQ under 70 where I live to be considered disabled to qualify for any sort of benefits. My parents have babied him from a young age because he wasn't as smart as the other kids, had low self-esteem because of that, and was quick to give up on things when they seemed too hard. Oh, this is just a failure on your parents' half.
100%.
He does an okay on his own. He works and pays his bills most of the time. He drives and lives with a roommate. On to the update. I sat down with my parents and explained that I have always felt like they've treated me worse than my brother. They always emphasized to me that as an adult, you need to support yourself and figure out things on your own. I had to join the military at 17 because I knew they'd kick me out when I was 18. My parents never offered me any support outside of raising me as a child. They didn't buy my husband and I a wedding gift. They didn't offer much of anything. Meanwhile, they brag about having over $1 million in the bank. and having succeeded from nothing.
What? No, this is different. So the main a-hole here are the parents.
Oh yeah. Also, if like $1 million is going to the brother, I feel like all the money should go to you, but in that will, there's like a condition that you have to make sure your brother's okay.
I feel like things would be so much more differently if the parents helped out a little bit in this. Like the relationship with the family, with OP's brother would be so much better than how it is now. But that's, again, on the parents. The parents really don't understand what they're doing.
They really don't. Meanwhile, they paid to put my brother through 2 trade schools that he failed out of, offered him money to start his own business. They've always bailed him out, even when he was short on rent. For me, it's not much about the money, but about the disparity and how we've been treated. It's obvious that they love and care about him more, because they're willing to do these things for him and not me. But despite them not being there for me, I've still done really well in life. I told my parents about all of this, and while they're interrupting me and talking over me the whole time, they told me I'm not entitled to a dime when they die, and that I'm an adult and I can handle myself. They just weren't understanding or even caring about my point. They told me I need to step up, treat them better, and that it's wrong of me to not take my sick mother to the doctor or take care of her because of money. Eventually, I just gave up on trying to talk about my feelings. They just don't care. I told them that they're adults. They're not entitled to anything from me. Just like how they're never required to help me, I'm not required to help them. I told them to completely remove me from their will. I'm not willing to be their estate executor, medical power of attorney, nothing. I don't want a dime from them at this point. And I suggested they spend all the money they have saved over the years to pay for a really good nursing home and estate executor, because I'm no longer willing to do anything for them. My mother was floored and asked if I really put my parents in a nursing home. I asked if they really let their 17-year-old daughter join them in the army to get spicily harassed by other older men in order to go to school without taking on a huge debt. And if you want to hear more crazy filled stories just like this, go to your favorite podcast platforms, search up OK Storytime, and we're there on Spotify, Apple, just with stories crazy like this.
Even crazier sometimes.
And we got a little bit more. But her parents were never really there for her.
No, this is a failure on the parents. I now fully understand where OP's at. OP seems like she still doesn't have that much resentment towards her brother, which is fine because he didn't do anything wrong. It's just not his fault, really. He's tried. It's on the parents. The parents failed at a young age for both of them, and this is the sins of their actions.
Yeah. Lastly, my parents cried and yelled at me, and I left. And that's that, I guess. And I kind of feel relieved. Like a massive weight is off my shoulders. I have a wonderful husband. We own a nice home. I'm getting ready to start my working.
I've heard that Opie has a wonderful home and a wonderful husband at least 3 or 4 times in the story. See, like I said, at least you have something to cherish. Your brother really doesn't.
I'm getting ready to start working on my master's degree, and we're thinking about maybe having a baby soon. I no longer have to worry about dealing with my parents. They're adults. They can deal with their own problems, just like I've done with mine. And yeah, that's it. Not sure if that's the update everyone's wanted. And OP replied to a comment, my brother is not a terrible guy. He makes bad choices sometimes, but at the end of the day, he's still my older brother, and he tries to be good to me. I wouldn't cut him off without a good reason. And OP's not a complete monster, but her parents are.
OP, you have a wonderful life. I would say keep close to your brother because that's going to be your only family that you have. It seems like coming up pretty soon. So just make amends with him and see what you can do for him and what you guys can do. I feel like the no contact with your family, that makes perfect sense. You can do that.
My brother has been the biggest bully. Now that he needs help, I refuse to lend a hand.
Shouldn't have bullied me, bully boy.
A little backstory here is important. I, 25 female, am the youngest of 4 and my parents' only daughter. My 2 oldest brothers, 37 male and 35 female, are the best. My other brother, 33 male, we'll call him Adam for the story, literally hates my guts and always has. By the way, this comes from deleted on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So he has always hated how much attention I get from my dad, even though he gets babied by our mom. He would literally torture me when I was young by locking me in the closet or sitting on me until I couldn't breathe. I was sort of a brain in school, and Adam bullied me constantly for it. I finished high school when I was 16 and now have 3 different degrees. I am a private financial advisor, and I have done well for myself. My 2 oldest brothers both own their own business and have a comfortable life. Adam did not go to college when my parents offered to pay for it, and he is a bartender. He has never moved out of our parents' house because he spends every cent he makes. He has never paid bills either. He got fired from his 5th bar last week for being wasted during work. My parents wanted to have family dinner, but was reluctant due to Adam always berating me and making fun of me. My dad said he really wanted this, so I gave in. When we were all at my parents' house for dinner, my mom brought up the idea of Adam living in one of my rental properties.
Oh, is that so?
I moved out with my brother, which was good. This is what we needed to do. But sometimes whenever you make your first move, it doesn't need to be with a family member. You need to do it with someone else.
I can't really relate, but I do know that you can move in with someone who's your best friend, and they'll turn into your enemy. If not speaking to my current situation because we're 30, but when I was a child, essentially, yeah, some of the people I live with I don't talk to anymore.
Nice. I only have 2, and one a family lives in, and the other a woman and her daughter are about to move into. So, both occupied. I explained this to my mother, and Adam suggests I break one of their leases and let him move in. I told him no. He asked why, and I said it was wrong, and also, he isn't responsible, so I don't trust him to pay rent on time. He laughed and asked why he would need to pay rent. I told him to drop it, especially if he's expecting a free ride, but he kept pestering me and trying to persuade me. Finally told him it wasn't my responsibility to take care of him, and he needs to figure it out. I also told him he has never been kind to me, so he shouldn't feel entitled to anything. My mom started yelling at me, saying I was being disrespectful and I needed to help when family asked. I told her she created this monster so she can deal with it. I left shortly after. My mom and Adam have been blowing up my phone, calling me every name in the book. My dad and my other 2 brothers are on my side. Of course, Adam is telling anyone who will listen my dad is just backing me up because I'm his favorite and he's continuing to call me names. The drama is starting to mess with me and I just want peace. He sent me a text saying that I don't know what it's like being the black sheep and I should help him when he's down because that's what family does. I need an unbiased opinion. Am I able for not giving him a place to stay? Update, getting right into it. I want to say thank you for all the comments. Past 2 weeks have been a huge roller coaster for my family. What I didn't mention in my first post was that I always felt weird about how protective my mother is of Adam. In my opinion, she took every opportunity to isolate him, but when I try to talk to him, he'd slash out. My older brothers feel the same way, but when they try to talk to Adam, he'd get angry. My 2 oldest brothers and I were hanging out at my place when I heard banging on my door. It was Adam, and he was wasted. I let him sleep it off in my guest room, and I told him he'd have to leave when he sobered up. I went to the room after a few hours to check on him, and he was crying. He said our mother supplied him with booze and always does when he's home. He kept apologizing to me and sobbing.
Oh no, she's an enabler.
My brother came in and my oldest brother told him he needs to be honest and tell us what's going on. Adam admitted our mother has been treating him like her boyfriend since he was a teen. That's when she started giving him booze and all clicked for me. Our dad worked constantly, so she wasn't at home, and my mom would always say Adam was being punished for something while my brothers were allowed to go out. My mom would let me watch movies in my room all night, and she'd disappear. Adam said she'd make him cuddle with her and have dinner with her like it was a date. She discussed her and my dad's marital problems with him. If he didn't accompany, she wouldn't let him leave the house at all, and she'd continue to lie and say he was being punished. She told him over and over how none of us would believe him, so he never felt safe to tell us. She went as far as to steal from our dad and blame Adam, so our dad always thought Adam was being dishonest. He said she never did anything spicily to him, but apparently that's why she wanted to have my place, so they could be alone. He said she told him what to say to me, and he made the statement about rent on purpose so I wouldn't do it. We hugged him for a long time, and he just cried and apologized. My siblings and I were seeing red at this point, and we all agreed Adam needed to tell our dad. We invited our dad over, and we stood with Adam while he told our dad everything. Our dad hugged Adam, kept apologizing to him, and he said he'll handle it. I don't know exactly what was said to my mother, but she moved out and is living in a hotel. My dad has already filed for divorce, and she is not finding him. We tried to talk to her, but she told us to all go to heck, and we took her one good thing away. She said,
oh my God.
Also Adam belongs to her, and she can do what she wants. It's taking everything in me to hold it together because she destroyed my brother with her crap and destroyed our relationship with him. By the way, you know, I'm not even going to say the CTA because we're not even going to post this anywhere.
Exhibitionist boxing match with my own mom. That's what I'm having if Adam's my brother.
Oh my gosh.
Serious?
Adam said he just wants to get better and wants to be a family with us. I can't lie. I was really happy. We're all so proud of him. He hasn't even taken a drink since that night because he's currently in rehab. When he's done, he's going to move into a condo with my dad, and my dad is going to buy. My dad is selling the family house, so he will be living with Adam. We isn't alone. Adam gets to call us every day and he wants to talk to me. It's like we're getting to know each other for the first time since it's been great. He keeps apologizing to me, but honestly, I've already forgiven him. I know this wasn't the update anyone was expecting, and I'm still in shock. I'm just going to focus on our family's healing, and hopefully we can all be in a good place one day.
I mean, like
Or
real
blah, blah.
those things happen to people, clearly.
Yep.
But that's like so sick. That's actually, I've called people a lot of sick freaks today, like as a joke.
That is the sickest freak.
But that's like an actual sick freak. Like that's a
dude, and she was
it's
gonna
messed
get
up.
like
She's
a
supplying
place
him
to
alcohol.
live. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
she's gonna get a place to live so she could do things.
truly
think so.
disturbed. Deeply, truly disturbed.
Like you would see this stuff on TLC.
I mean, yeah, you know,
Tables, ladders, and chairs.
you'd see this as
I put a WWE thing on him.
My brother's fiance embarrassed me at the family dinner, so I left without saying a word. Cool, calm, and collected.
you should have left by. You should have done huge mistake.
You should have gone. You should have gone.
Huge.
A bit of background. Me and my boyfriend, recently ex-boyfriend, definitely had our fair share of issues. He really struggled with insecurities and jealousy issues. By the way, this comes from Reddit Owl1313, and if you want to share your stories, go to r/OK Storytime on Reddit. This edit of me going to the gym alone was one he struggled with. Additionally, certain articles of clothing I wore were also an issue for him. Yikes. He would get extremely upset seeing other men check me out. He ultimately decided to seek therapy for these issues, determined to fix them. Good, because that's not a you thing.
It's 100% not a you thing.
After long discussion, we decided it would be best for both of us to part ways as he tries to work through his own issues. This breakup occurred not even 2 weeks ago, and of course, still feels very raw to me. I regularly confided in my older brother about these issues throughout my relationship. We are very close. It has been apparent he has discussed some of these issues with his fiance. I wasn't upset. I understood it was his fiance after all. I felt comfortable that these discussions were between the three of us. However, this was not the case tonight. Everyone came to our house this evening for a barbecue. This included my parents, all my siblings, and friends of my brother and I. I walked in the door in full gym attire as I had just come from the gym. My brother's fiance looks at me and loudly announces, "Wow, you really are single now. Look at you actually being allowed to go to the gym again." Insert annoying laugh here. Ah ha ha ha!
Hey, that one's gonna whiff. That one's not gonna land. I can already tell you right now. That one went way up into the stratosphere, not in a good way, in a bad way.
The room instantly got silent. Everyone looked to me with uncomfortable expressions, looking for my reaction. I was so shocked, it took me a second to process what she had just said in front of everyone. My dad, quickly realizing how uncomfortable I was, changed the subject, and everyone began talking again.
Yeah, Dad was just like,
Okay.
so football.
You hear about that
Football's
game?
been pretty crazy this year.
Man, oh man. I was hurt by this so-called joke, but for the sake of the night, I decided to let it go, thinking that would be the end of it. Nope. Not even 30 minutes later, everyone is gathered around the table getting food buffet style. She looks at my outfit and announces, "Ooh, you wore leggings to the gym? Must be nice to finally be able to wear leggings again without X's name telling you what you can and can't wear." Girl, your joke already bombed. Why are you trying again?
I'm actually getting like secondhand cringe.
I'm
even
getting
just, like,
so hardcore cringe.
visualizing that.
Oh my
like,
God.
Like I would like stop. I would like try to stop him mid sentence. I'd just start clapping. I'd be like, yeah. I would pull the Larry David from
My
Curb Your
dear-
Enthusiasm. Just be like, oh, yeah, that's enough. We
Yeah.
got it.
My
we
dear
did
woman, why would you do that?
it. My dear woman.
Why would you do that? Again, followed by her fake laughter. Ah ha ha ha. I instantly felt my blood boil from anger and sheer embarrassment. I politely corrected her, saying I was always allowed to wear what I like, despite his feelings or insecurities. No one in my family knew these details about our relationship. I had no intention of ever telling them. This was extremely personal to me. I excused myself to the restroom and quickly grabbed my car keys and slid out the back door. Just what is going on with her? What is going on with her?
I don't know, but like clearly this sister, is it a sister or a cousin?
Sister-in-law. This is
Sister-in-law.
almost sister-in-law. This is her
So-
Opie's brother brother's fiance.
Almost in-law, right? Sister, you're almost about to have to go out back and have a fist fight with
You're
me.
gonna remain almost a
gonna
fiance
have
because hopefully this brother stops this relationship.
I would hope so after this. I mean, ugh, God.
As soon as I started driving, I started bawling my eyes out. I know this may seem dramatic to some, but I was really affected by this. I mean, you broke up 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, that's not dramatic at all.
I was shocked and angry by how another adult could ever think this type of behavior was okay. I received several texts asking where I was and saying how I made a scene by leaving the dinner. I only responded to my parents, letting them know I needed a bit of space. I also felt extremely hurt for my ex, as some of his friends were in attendance at this dinner. She had no right to publicly air my ex's very personal issues to his friends or to my family. Am I wrong for abruptly leaving the family dinner and creating an apparent scene? And there is an update. Girl, you didn't create the scene. She did.
You didn't. No,
She
you're
created
not
the
wrong.
scene.
You're not.
You were just an actor in the scene, but she started it. She was the director.
I will say, though, it's not about being wrong, right? At this point, there's just different ways that you can respond to a situation. Some people will respond like that, and some people will respond the way that OP did.
Obviously, like, that would be the better way to do it. But, you know, OP's just gone through a breakup. Probably, maybe is not confrontational. So it's like, yeah, she's going through a lot. And maybe there was a better way to handle it, but sometimes you're like, you just can't do it in that moment.
And sometimes you got to like train yourself to be able to do stuff like that, where it's like, instead of being like, I mean, and it's got to be a shock because it's like, oh my God, like my biggest secrets are being blabbermouthed out into the entire room. So you might not have the wherewithal to be able to be like, yeah, and I look great, don't I? Now please shut up. Like, because I think by leaving, they kind of, again, it's not winning and losing, but it's just like, it makes it
More.
Yeah.
More of a thing. First of all, thank you to everyone who offered advice. It meant a great deal to me. I thought I would post a follow-up considering the amount of traction this post received. So as some of you suggested, I reached out to my brother and expressed my frustration and sadness given the whole situation. I was not able to reach him through the phone, so I ended up sending him a text detailing all this information. I didn't hear anything from him the rest of the day, so I started to wonder if he was just going to ignore my message. Then today, I got a text from his fiance saying, "Good morning, my name, OP. I didn't mean any offense when I said that comment the other night. I was trying to make light of the situation and kind of pump you up to make you feel good."
You've already, like, this is a bad apology already. Not enough, I'm sorry.
Like, kind of a yay thing. I should have taken into consideration that we were in front of everyone, and I don't know 100% what's going on. I know you were considerate about the Pearl thing, so I should do the same thing. I apologize and didn't mean any harm. It won't happen again? Question mark, question mark.
Well, the question mark is like, it's an emoji that's not popping up or something. But like, that's not an apology. That's low key her being like, you shouldn't have been that upset because I didn't mean it.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about her response. While I do appreciate her reaching out and apologizing, I am struggling to believe she genuinely thought this would make me feel good, or in her words, pump me up. Right, because nothing pumps you up like having your relationship issues put on blast and shared to the masses. I received this message 2 hours ago and I have yet to reply. Like many of you suggested, this seemed more a tactic for her to persuade how people see me. I do know for certain she is a very judgmental person, which gives me more reason to doubt the authenticity of her reply. For example, I witnessed on several occasions her being rude to waitstaff, talking down on other people's relationships, lives, and jobs.
Honestly, being rude to waiters, immediate red flag. Immediate, and we're done.
Huge red flag.
And we're done here.
After further reading comments, I have started to speculate she decided to publicly joke about my relationship issues in a desperate attempt to boost her own insecurities. For starters, she does not allow my brother to go out to bars with his male friends because, in her words, those are not activities taken men do.
Oh, that's crazy.
Which is so funny because this is stuff like she was telling you, she was like kind of talking about you. Like she was saying, OP, oh, you can finally go to the gym now. And she's kind of doing the same thing with her partner.
Well, she doesn't have to abide by the standards of
No.
others. It's called the double standard.
Yes. It's called the old double standard.
She invented it.
He's not allowed to drive his Camaro to the gym as she believes this will attract other girls' attention. Also, as I'm sure you can conclude from all this, he is by no means allowed to have any female friends. I could go on and on here, but you get the idea. Because of this, I do wonder if she's trying to embarrass me publicly in an attempt to boost her self-esteem. At a minimum, I do believe it makes her a hypocrite.
I think she just nailed it right there, honestly.
I am also a little disappointed I haven't received a response from my brother. While he obviously relayed the message to her, it would have been nice to hear from him as well. Yeah, I mean, the fact that like he's the one who told your personal information and like personal secrets to his fiance, so he should own up to this.
100%.
As others pointed out, it may not be in my best interest to confide in him going forward. Yeah. As for my reply to his fiance, I am still unsure what is the best course of action to take. Perhaps just let it go and only press the issue if it happens again. I have a feeling this won't be the last time, despite what she said here. I will update you all here once I gather my thoughts and decide what I should say going forward. Edit for a clarification, she noted how I was considerate given the Pearl situation. This is my lifelong friend of over 10 years. My brother and my friend Pearl had a brief fling that lasted a few months back in 2012. My brother came to me explaining how his fiance was very upset that I would share funny stories about me and Pearl's travels together in front of her. I apologized and explained to my brother I had no idea she even knew about the brief fling, given it was so long ago. By the way, I know that you guys should listen to full episodes with stories like this. Just go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app and search up OK Storytime. And that's it. Nothing to it.
Yeah, honestly, you should be telling your brother to leave this terrible woman. She's rude to wait staff, dude. What a huge red flag. I also have to very quickly take a hard left into the past here.
I was a little surprised he even thought to mention it to her when he explained she somehow managed to find text messages between them on his phone dating all the way back to 2012. So he didn't even tell her. She snooped on his phone.
Ooh.
What a ginormous red flag.
Ooh.
From that point on, I was not allowed to even mention her name around my brother's fiance. And this is OP's friend. She's not allowed to talk about her friend?
This is just absurd.
Let alone invite her on any family outings, as I used to do frequently. She has even overheard our private conversations between me and my brother where I've mentioned Pearl's name, to which she criticized my brother for not completely shutting down the conversation immediately. She's a real gem, I know. But there are some comments. Hostages generally aren't allowed unfettered access to communication devices.
Yes,
Reply, right, OP, is your brother okay? And comment 2 says, sounds like your brother hasn't been telling fiance anything. Fiance has been reading it herself the whole time. Yeah, I wonder if OP's brother even like told her these secrets, or if
probably not.
She just snooped on the phone.
She probably snooped it.
Comment 3, so the fiance does the exact same crap to your brother that she's joking about your boyfriend doing to you. She is controlling and manipulative. You're also right that she's very insecure. I would steer clear of her and let your relationship with your brother go on one way for now. Let him confide to you if he wants, but don't tell him anything that you don't want her to know as well. He will either get a clue and leave her, or else their relationship will either become completely dysfunctional or possibly even abusive towards him if it's not there already. I would respond by saying something along the lines of, I appreciate that you said this. I know that my brother will be sharing things with you as his wife, so please understand that this is being shared in confidence as a family member and should be discussed with me before being talked about publicly. She could take that as confrontational, but TBH, it would be best to set really clear boundaries with her. Downside, she will probably start to interfere with your relationship with your brother, but well, she's already doing that. Don't let her become your family's missing stair by letting her BS slide when you're the one she's pushing around. And OP says, thank you for the great advice. Unfortunately, she's already impacted our relationship quite a bit. Me and my brother were extremely close, and I noticed him becoming more and more distant. He started his own business, so at first I wrote it off as he's just really busy. It's been 2 years. The business is doing great, and he's more distant than ever. I really noticed how much she influenced him when I confronted her about her rude behavior on a family trip, which resulted in her cussing and yelling at me. The whole family was shocked, but because you can tell she tries to put on the show of, I'm super put together and a businesswoman. More importantly, though, was my brother took to her defense. Never told her she was in the wrong for speaking to a family member that way or anything. 2 years ago, he would have been livid. I don't know what she's done with him, but he's changed. And that is the end of that story. My brother-in-law insulted my brother with Down syndrome, so I threatened to call the cops on him.
Get him
Stand
in
on business.
Stand on that business.
My hubby, male 40, and I, female 35, have been together 10 years, married for 5. We bought a fixer-upper 2 years ago and finally completed upgrades and repairs just in time to host Christmas. Both sides of the family came. My parents, my brother Frank, male 30, and his girlfriend, now fiance, Lila, female 29, and my hubby's parents and his brother Todd, male 32. By the way, this comes from Reputation Asleep 8905, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/Okie Storytime subreddit. So, since it's relevant, I'll mention that my brother Frank has Down syndrome. He also graduated from high school and college. He has his BA in early childhood education. He also has his own apartment and his own car. He works full-time as a preschool teacher, and his job loves him. I have freaking amazing parents, and when Frankie was born, their attitude was, you'll do as much as you're encouraged to do. And we all invested heavily in helping Frank be all he can be, which is a lot. That's great parenting right there.
I love that.
I never felt left out or forgotten by my folks, by the way. They worked really hard to make sure we both had a great childhood. My hubby and Frank are total bros, LOL. Frank was his best man in our wedding, and after being friends with Frankie for a few years, he switched his job as a high school English teacher to a special education teacher. It required some extra schooling, but my dude loves his job so much now, and he's so happy. So obviously, Frank is popular in the family. At the party, I knew my hubby and Frank were up to something because they were whispering a lot and grinning. Right before dessert, Frank stood up and talked about how this year had been the best in his life. He said he wished he could keep his life this way forever. My hubby pipes up with, if you like it, then you better put a ring on it. Ooh.
Got you.
And tossed Frank a ring box.
Oh.
He got down on one knee
Oh.
and asked Lila to marry him.
Oh.
Lovely.
It's cute.
It's cute because they got permission. She, of course, said, heck yeah. It was so touching, and honestly, everyone was crying and hugging and so excited. I noticed my brother-in-law, Todd, wasn't smiling and looked pretty irritated. Todd is single, probably because he enjoys Andrew Tate so much, and he and my hubby have never been close. When we all stopped hugging and sat down, Todd muttered, finally, under his breath. Everyone heard it, though, because he absolutely meant us to. I asked if there was a problem. He said, and I quote, I'm not that interested in celebrating two R-slur people pretending they can have a real life. I almost caught a charge because I about the old 12'd him. Is that the censored?
Oh, the old 1-2
Oh, the old 1-2'd him. There we go. Frank just laughed at him and asked, still single, huh? Boom!
Gotcha.
Frank freaking gotcha!
Go marry Andrew Tate.
Which made everyone laugh. Todd stepped towards him, and my hubby told him to sit down and shut up. He also told him he's an embarrassment.
Yes.
Nice. This is great.
Yeah.
Todd got mad and told my hubby that the embarrassment was how he pretended that Frank and Lila are actually functioning adults. And yet, they're not the ones making the scene at the wedding, are they?
Dude.
Who's the functioning adult now?
Bro.
Certainly not you. At that, my hubby stood up, yanked Todd's chair out, and told him to get the heck out of our house.
Yep.
He told him he didn't want to see his face or hear his voice until he sincerely apologized to Frank and Lila. Todd started to refuse to leave, so I got my phone out and told him I was calling the cops to escort him out if he refused to leave on his own.
Yes.
He's been in Dutch with the cops a few times for wasted and disorderly and assault, so that got him to peel out quickly. Hubby's parents were clearly embarrassed by Todd's behavior, and they left a few minutes later after apologizing to Frank and Lila. We told them they were more than welcome to stay, but they left anyways. This morning, I woke up to a bunch of texts from Todd demanding I talk to my hubby and fix this. I told him no and blocked him. Then my mother-in-law called and asked me to talk to hubby. I was kind about it, but I said no. I told her it's between hubby and Todd, and I respected my husband's feelings. She got upset and said that her family is getting torn apart and I'm allowing it. I told her again I was sorry, but that Todd is totally responsible for this and she needs to take it up with him. She hung up crying. I still don't think hubby and I were wrong here at all, but I truly like my mother-in-law and those tears definitely got to me. But I refuse to let my brother and best friend be abused in my home. Am I the a-hole here? No!
Dude.
In what world are you the a-hole? Oh my goodness.
Like you're she's what the mother-in-law, right, is crying like, oh, don't tear the family apart. What the freak is Todd doing?
Yeah. Come on,
Oh.
let's use our critical thinking skills here. Who's really tearing the family apart? Is it
Dude.
the person who's just trying to have a wedding? Or is it the person who's throwing slurs around?
If we literally never saw Todd again, if we locked him in a prison, that would be a joyous day.
No one would miss him.
If
Not a
that's
single person would miss him.
Tearing the family apart? Great.
So
Rip
be
it to
it.
smithereens. Perfect.
Rip it
I
up.
love it.
John, we're going to get back to the story, but I got to tell you, I've been loving these pearls that I got in Colombia.
You are a delicious beaded man now.
I do feel more confident at the very least, but I think these pearls pale in the amount of confidence an OK Storytime membership can get you.
That's right. You get 60 plus hours a month of exclusive live stream content. That's advice that'll make you the best version of yourself.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Crack open that oyster and get the blues. But let's get back to the story.
Additional information from OP. OP says, my mother-in-law has called twice, begging me to interfere and force a discussion. Her tears break my heart. But Todd is just so crappy. I'm honestly relieved that I might never have to deal with him again. And there are some relevant comments. Should we just jump into them?
Let's do it. Let's see what they got to say.
Let's do it. Commenter 1 says, not the a-hole. Your brother-in-law sure has his mom wrapped around his little finger, though. Embarrassing for her, for sure. But do not even fleetingly consider getting on team Coddle Todd.
Ugh.
Make no mistake, this is not just about your brother being insulted. It's also about trying to trick you into participating in that insult through minimizing and peacemaking. Curious to know whether Todd and their mom called your husband directly first, because if not, that's a double black mark against his family and may explain why your husband was so immediate in his willingness to call Todd out at that time. He might have been annoyed by this dynamic often over the years. Opie says, nope, they just called me because I've known to have a soft touch. My hubby has zero patience with their nonsense. Probably because he's been dealing with it for his whole life.
Yeah. He's like, it's his
He's
brother.
like, I hate Todd.
Bro, Todd
Yeah.
literally sucks.
Todd is the worst.
The worst.
Todd is definitely the golden child, but I sense they realize they bet on the wrong horse, so to speak. Commenter 2 says your brother-in-law is a jerk because your mother-in-law enables it. Not the a-hole. Frank sounds hilarious. OP says Frank is the smart A to end all smart A's. He is hysterical. What is so cool about my brother is that he can gently poke like that without being mean or ugly. I love him so much, honestly. I feel like getting him for a brother was the best gift the universe ever gave me.
Oh.
Sweet. Commenter 3 says, you are not the a-hole. Is your mother-in-law asking Todd to apologize? OP says, I can't imagine she has. When he got a DV charge for slapping his ex-fiance, his mom blamed her for being difficult.
Oh my God.
And you like his mom?
What?
This is the mom that you like?
What?
I don't feel bad for her at all. I don't like her.
Cut them. Yeah, get
Cut
them
them all
get
off.
them all. Mom, Dad, Todd, go.
Bye. We spend very little time with my in-laws. I suspect there's going to be even less now. Commenter 4 says, you said that you truly like your mother-in-law. Why? She excused DV and ableism. She's not a good person. Why do you feel bad for her? Because she cried? Is crying enough to excuse her behavior? You're not the a-hole for not helping excuse his actions, but I'm wondering why you think your mother-in-law is so great. OP says, excellent question. She's always been controlling, but she's sweet and delicate about it, if that makes sense. My husband kept our contact minimal, so I'd see her on her best behavior. The only time I didn't was when Todd got arrested and she blamed the woman he slapped. She's difficult and it was just a slap. Oh, that's the mom saying.
That's the
She's
mom
difficult
saying.
and it was just a slap.
Dude, Mom, no.
We didn't see them for almost 2 years after that until father-in-law developed cancer. Mother-in-law knew how grossed out we were about her defending Todd, and she apologized profusely, saying she was wrong and that Todd knows she was ashamed of him. My hubby called her apology a load of crap later, but I bought it, I guess. Probably because in my family, if someone apologized, they meant it.
Honey, this is not your family.
This is absolutely not your family. Clearly.
Wow.
But when father-in-law got sick, we reconnected, and now here we are. Let me assure you, though, my tolerance for her is gone for good. I feel like an idiot for falling for it at all. And there is an update. Same day, 4 hours later. Update. Todd is on Reddit and loves the Am I the A-hole group. He talks about it at Christmas. That's pretty much why I posted this. He saw this and my mother-in-law called and asked me to remove it. I said no, don't remove it. Let everyone know how much of a problem she is.
Print posters all over town. Rent
Yeah.
billboards.
Yeah, say, keep away from this woman. She says that it's mean. I told her Todd is meaner and I'm done.
So true.
I told her the post stays up and that I'm never asking hubby to meet with them again. Smart. I am the a-hole, I know, for encouraging my hubby to have contact with them, and I've apologized. Frank's opinion on all of this is that he hasn't wasted time on a-holes in the past, and he's not starting now. I apologize to him, too, for inviting my brother-in-law in the first place. Lila is as snarky as Frank, and she told me no cake for him. LOL, she's the best. I'm maid of honor, so I'm working hard to come up with ways to make this proposal nonsense up to her. And by the way, you know what's not nonsense?
Oh, what is that, Sophia?
Listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, or your favorite podcast app and search up OK Storytime.
I will.
It's not nonsense. That's just straight facts.
Straight facts.
And there is a little bit left, but do you have any final thoughts?
I mean, guys, like, cut off Todd, the mom
Cut
and
them
dad,
off.
like they're woefully misguided.
Yeah.
Woefully misguided.
Big time.
Anyone excusing Todd needs to excuse themselves out of your life.
Excuse themselves from the room. I don't want to see them.
Just get them out of here. And that's really it. Point blank,
Yeah.
period, end of sentence.
Yeah, there's really nothing I have to say about that.
Yeah.
But to finish this story off,
Yes.
someone said this couldn't be true because no one would act like we did after Todd's comment. My response is that you don't know Frank. I think you suspect he's childish and throws fits when he's upset. You couldn't be more wrong. His stated attitude about people like Todd is that he refuses to act just because someone else chooses to. As for everything else, yes, my hubs is the best. I had a ridiculously privileged childhood, and I know that, and I'm grateful. And that is the end of that story.
There we go.
Lovely.
Hopefully we just
Lovely.
get him the freak out of here.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I don't even want to see ya.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
But that's the end of that story.
That's the end of that story.
My lazy brother has been freeloading for years, so I asked him to move out.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's what you do when you've got a freeloader just leeching off of you. Just,
It's time to get a job.
I, 28 female, have been reading Am I the A-hole and relationship advice posts for over a month now, and today I decided to make a post and ask strangers how to fix things and if I'm in the wrong. So here we go. My parents got divorced when I was around 13. Oh, so we're going back. Because my father, 59, cheated on my mother, 59, I've had no contact with my father for over 10 years. My mother, for some reason, blamed me for their divorce. She used to come to my bed late at night, shook me, and told me I was the cause of her failed marriage. We never had a good relationship, but this divorce made everything far worse for us. By the way, this comes from user don't know what to say, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit and submit them all there. So, whenever we had a problem, she would say that I'm sick in the head, I'm crazy, I'm mental, and was in urgent need of help. As a 14-year-old kid who did not know better, I actually did seek help and made an appointment with the therapist. The therapist told me that she needed to see my mother too. I don't know what the therapist told my mother, but we never visited her again. Sometimes my mother would tell me that the therapist told her I was crazy and a psychopath, which is a lie. If it was the case, why didn't my mother help me by taking me to the therapist? Isn't that what mothers do? Help their kids? No, she was lying to you. I have a brother, 30 male, who is the golden child, who gets all the nice things and praises and whatnot when we grew up like any other golden child does. I'm not going to bother you with how he is the golden child and I'm the unwanted kid, because that would take forever. My brother and I are university graduates. I studied in a foreign country for post-grad, and last year I came back and started looking for a job in my home country. I wanted to work in the same city where I studied in university, where my long-term boyfriend lives, where all my friends are, and of course, where my mother does not live. While I was looking for a job, my brother offered to help and I moved in with him. He used to live alone in an old student apartment. I was so grateful that I cleaned the house, prepared our meals, and did the laundry, and in short, pretty much did everything around the house. My long-term boyfriend, 29 male, is good friends with my brother. Boyfriend used to come for dinner every night and we would hang out. My boyfriend felt responsible for me and brought bags of groceries every day to compensate for what he and I ate. I am a very independent woman and did my best not to become a burden to my brother, both financially and emotionally. After a month during the holidays, my brother went to see our mother while I went with my boyfriend to visit his parents, who are amazing people, by the way. We left a day earlier than my brother and told him specifically to take out the garbage before leaving because we were going to be away for 10 days in the middle of the summer heat. Oh, God.
And the summer heat.
Oh, that's a special kind of stink.
Yeah. Man, the summer heat, I could never.
Especially if this is not in America. I don't know if this is in America.
Oh, yeah.
But air conditioning, I don't know if you knew that,
Yeah, I
is
know.
a uniquely American phenomenon. We arrived a day before, and guess what? He left the trash bin as it is on the counter.
Ooh.
Oh, when I looked at it, ooh, I saw all the little crawly googas swarming around in it. I was cleaning the house and threw the whole bin away. We bought a new trash bin, mind you, and it was the exact same bin with the same color. When my brother came by a day later, I told him what happened. He started yelling, his face red with veins pumping, and walked out on me. He was screaming at me and blamed me for making decisions in his home without asking him first. It was his house, and I did not have the right to throw the bin away. It didn't matter if it was a $2 bin, it was his. I could not believe my ears. I was being yelled at for a trash bin that I replaced. I told him I would do the same if it happens again because it was gross. He then told me to leave his house. I did and moved in with my boyfriend and his roommate. The next day, my mother called me and asked what happened. She asked these questions, but she never listens. She believes what she wants to believe. Me trying to explain to her my side doesn't mean a thing. So I told her I did not want to talk about what happened. She says, it is your fault. It is his house. You don't have the right to his stuff. He's your brother. You got to obey him. What does he want? All right, bro, here's what I'm going to do now since you're being this way. I am so annoyed by this. I'm going to go get a big heap of rotting meat and I'm going to make sure that it stays out. And once it's loaded up with maggots again, I'll give it back to you, and then you can go throw it out yourself. Since apparently I was out of line for throwing away your maggot-infested trash bin that cost $2 from, the store. I lived with my boyfriend and his roommate for 5 months. They both are lovely people and never made me feel unwanted even for a second. It was a tough time for me. No house, no job, no money. And not long after, I found an amazing job and I found an amazing house. And boyfriend and I moved in together. I wanted to help my brother like how he helped me. His house was falling apart. It was old, dirty, and inconvenient, and a pretty expensive place for only one person. I told him that he could live with us for a couple of months, save money, and move into a better place. I told him not to worry about rent and other utilities because we're family, right? This is what families do for each other, right? It was a good call because a week later, our country went crazy with the vid. He moved in with us just in time. My boyfriend and I started buying furniture, a happy lamp there, a little table here. It became our house that we built ourselves. My brother never cooked, cleaned, bought groceries, or offered any help around the house. I felt it was inconvenient, but he was our guest. I was repaying my debt to him. 2 weeks later, I bought a TV for all of us. This is important. My brother became obsessed with this TV. He would watch movies and documentaries and shows all day, every day, just locked in. We're working from home, so he had all the time in the world. One day, my boyfriend and I were preparing the meal in the kitchen, and I told my brother that the food was ready. He turned the TV on and left the room. We eat in the living room. While I was laying the table, I switched the channel to a news channel. He then came back and complained about the news and switched the channel back. I told him we should all watch something that we can all enjoy. He insisted that he came first. We were going to watch what he wanted to watch. I told him to switch it back. I told him to give me the remote control, and he did not. After demanding the remote control for the 10th time, he threw it away to the floor. I told him he cannot throw stuff in my house because it did not belong to him. And by the way, there's a lot of sass for a man not paying any rent.
Yeah,
or
but he
any
came
bills.
first. He came first. He was the firstborn. He
Dude,
came before that, so
then
he can
you
do whatever
should-
he wants.
You should go ahead and leave first.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I told him he was not doing anything in the house to help, but at least let us rest and enjoy our life while we can. For context, my boyfriend and I both study for our post-grads, have jobs, and work in the house. My brother got up and started yelling. He screamed that my job is easy, but his job is very difficult. He was working his patootie off, and we were just writing emails for the show. I told him I was not going to apologize for having a nice job. Not easy per se, but it pays well. I worked hard for what I have. And then he belittles me and my achievements. Not gonna lie, I did the same. I belittled his achievements. He then cursed at me, which is a taboo for me, by the way. My mother cursed at me for the simplest thing, so it became a taboo for me, something I would never do to my own family. I find it very rude and unforgivable. We stopped talking after that. Next day, my mother called me and asked, what happened? And I refused to answer. She then told me it was my fault and told me to be polite to him because he was a guest in our house. Nuh-uh. He's an intruder at this point.
Yeah.
We made him uncomfortable. He was my brother, and I have to obey him. If there wasn't a lockdown, she would have come and placed his child into a better house. A 30-year-old man-child. Hypocrite? Yes, I know. It has been 3 months since we stopped talking. Wow. 2 weeks ago, I broke my ankle and started working from home again. Last Friday was a tough day for me. I had assignments lined up, Excel sheets I needed to work on, and this constant excruciating pain in my ankle. Late at night, my mother called me and asked me to listen to her about my brother. I told her I can listen, but that's it. Nothing she says can change what I think, and I refuse to make any comments on the fight we had with my brother. She then started to cry and told me my brother had to order takeout because there was no food in the house. Dude, I'm going to blow your mind, brother. Get ready. There's stores, right, where you go to buy groceries. It's called the grocery store. If there's no food, you take the money that you would spend on takeout, right? And you spend it on groceries.
Yup. Easy peasy, women, squeezy.
Yeah. Sorry. No one taught you how that works. I then realized I was so busy working and trying to make it to the deadline that I forgot to eat. It was not important, of course. My brother had to order takeout. Unthinkable. Today I was laying down and watching TV. He stopped watching it after the fight. My brother came to me and said, "As your brother, I came and am apologizing for cursing at you. I know I am right in the fight, so I expect you to apologize," which is crazy because he's so wrong. I told him I did nothing wrong and was not going to apologize. He said that I was 100% in the wrong. When I refused, he told me I was sick in the head, that I was crazy and ill. He was saying things as if my mother was talking. He told me I had narcissistic personality disorder. I was selfish, spoiled, self-centered, and all the dirty things as he claimed. He told me that he was done and I was no longer related to him. I asked my boyfriend what he thought. He told me my brother suffers from favoritism. I remember that 14-year-old girl now. Should I do what I did years ago, or am I being manipulated into thinking I am mentally ill as they claimed? I usually blame myself for everything. I went to 2 more therapists, one overseas and one here. After our talks, they told me I was not mentally ill. I don't know. Oh no, sweetie, no, you're not. It was a lie. Your mom, it was a toxic who lied to you because she can't be made to be held accountable for her own actions. Oh, that's so sad. I thought we knew that from the very beginning. If someone tells you something for years, you start doubting yourself. Of course. What if they're right? What if I'm right? What should I do? And there is an update.
Dang, you can't.
I'd say, hey, so you've made it very uncomfortable to live in my own home. So I'm going to have you leave within the next 2 weeks.
You got to get out of here.
You can go live with mom.
Lickety split,
but you can't stay here.
John, we're going to get back to the story,
Yeah.
but you're old.
You're as old as me now, pal.
I might be as old as you, but I feel like you have oodles more wisdom.
I've got some wisdom in this old noggin.
You got
baby.
a piece of wisdom for me right now?
Always respect you.
And I think the other piece of wisdom that I've learned from John is join OK Storytime memberships.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
And it's only $5 a month. So go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Get it now while I'm still alive.
And now back to the story.
After reading your comments and discussing them with my boyfriend, I decided to call my mother and explain what really happened. So I called, tried to tell the story from my perspective. I started off by saying I'm not her and her worldviews do not necessarily reflect mine, and she interrupted me 100 times, as she does. She did not even try to see things from my side. As we all guessed, she sided with my brother. It was a 1-hour call, so I might skip certain things, but I remember her blaming me for leaving food in the refrigerator for my brother. Apparently, paying the bills, cleaning, doing the laundry, and cooking are not enough. I also have to call him to the table to make sure he eats. Her exact words were, "You are treating him as if he is a stray dog." No, you're actually telling her to treat him like a stray dog, like he has no thumbs, like he can't speak English, like he's got no agency, like he's helpless. That's what he's a 30-year-old man. It's crazy. I will let this sink in for you guys. Surprisingly, she did not know my brother doesn't pay for anything. That makes sense the way that she was talking. It is very convenient that my brother forgot to tell her this. She denied always siding with him, and I told her to give me one example when she sided with me. She could not. Well, of course, at the end of our call, I told her I am used to not having a mother in my life, but if she truly loves my brother, she should just stop spoiling him.
There we go.
He never had a girlfriend, yikes, doesn't have friends, oof, and is the most selfish person I've ever seen. My brother expects everything to be served to him on a silver platter. She was shocked as if she never realized that my brother doesn't have anyone besides us. I told her to think about what I told her and call me back in 2 hours if she agrees with me. She did call, to my surprise, and told me that I'm a very compassionate and good-hearted girl. This could be the very first time that she's ever said anything nice to me. I thanked her and asked for a favor, but she would have to accept it beforehand. She agreed, and I told her to stay out of our arguments with my brother. He always thinks he's in the right because she sides with him unconditionally, which makes it a 2v1 against me every time. We will now see if she keeps her promise. Later that night, I walked into my brother's room and told him I was hurt. Not because he threw the TV remote or didn't follow my rules, but because I don't deserve to be called names in my own house at the age of 28. He apologized for swearing and screaming and agreed not to do that anymore. I told him I am not the sole decision maker in our house, and I have to respect my boyfriend's wishes as well. Since he's been a burden for us emotionally, financially, and physically, we both appreciated if he could find his own place as soon as possible. I told him even though he punted me out, I would never do that to him. Boyfriend told him he can stay with us until he finds his own place. He is still with us. He tries to help around the house, and yesterday he asked if he could watch TV. LOL. Boyfriend knows he's a keeper now. Thank you all for your kind words, and I apologize if I offended anyone in any way.
There's another update. Dude, this
There
goes straight
is
downhill.
Another update.
This goes downhill. I know it for a fact.
Oh, what do you think's going on?
Dude, he turns, he becomes a worse person, and all the things he has said and done are now down the toilet.
Oh, so it's like the snapback. It's like he was like, yeah, I'll change. And then he changed for a little bit. And then he's going to let go and it's going to fling. It's going to snap back.
Yeah.
And he's going to be 10 times worse than he was before.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a hot take. Let's see if it turns out. After writing my update, I asked my brother if he intends to follow our plan for him to move out by the end of August. He raised his eyebrows and kept quiet. I told him we had an agreement. We showed respect and patience, but he did not change one bit. He got offended and left the room. He said, there's a right time for everything. He already has a job that he has been working for 3 years, but he applied for another job and he is currently waiting for a response. I didn't even know he applied for a new job until recently. He's reluctant to move out before he gets an answer, so he wants to wait and see. What? I totally understand why he does what he does, but 5 minutes later, my mom called me and told me we punted him out.
Every time the brother doesn't get anything he wants, he goes crying to his mom.
Dude,
this is insane.
Calling your mom to fight your battles at 30?
Crazy.
Maybe not crazy in like, I don't know, like you need to fight an insurance company. Like I'd call my mom for that. I'm basically 30. If I needed to fight an insurance company, I'm calling my mom.
Yeah, but not like, I don't know.
But
you
not
get in a disagreement with someone. Like if
not just someone, your sister.
Yeah.
Your sister. I cannot understand how in the whole wide world I ended up being the bad guy who punted her brother out. I told her repeatedly that I did not do that. She did not listen, though, as always. I told her again that my brother does not pay for or do anything. My bonuses were cut because of my ankle. The project my boyfriend was working on got suspended for 4 months. Moreover, boyfriend is about to finish his thesis, so he is very stressed out. We are having financial difficulties and I'm spending my emergency fund. My brother knows this and still did not even offer to pay for anything. He even told me he saved up $30,000 since he moved in with us. It's like, dude, you have a job.
Dude, that
This
happened.
is insanity.
That happened to me once. I was splitting the bill with someone on something, and they told me they bought like 3 new pairs of shoes, and I was like, all right, you're now gonna have to help me out with this bill. And they got upset because they're like, oh, but I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm like, don't tell me that. You know, like that's just a slap in your face.
It is. Trying to talk about money is always uncomfortable. But yeah, brother needs to give you a fair rent rate at this point.
Yeah.
After saving all that money and being like, oh, you actually want me to move out? It's like, dude, you owe us money now at this point. This is not me helping you out. This is you basically strong-armed yourself into being our third roommate. I don't want his money. Fine, I'll take it. I don't need his money, but it would be nice if he offered. True. Mother told me she's going to tell him to pay rent. I told her to stay out of our arguments like we agreed, but she believes that she should meddle in our lives as if we are children. But I mean, you are her children, even if you are adults. So that's fair. I understand she tries to help, but at the end of the day, she just makes everything worse. I feel like she doesn't care about solving the problem, but she wants to find the guilty kid, and spoiler alert, it's always me. Next day, we came home and saw my brother cooking. Brother works from home. Okay. He cooked for us for the following days and told me that he could cover rent and utilities. I kindly declined his offer, which is too much of a sweetie pie move. You should be taking that. I did not tell him this, but I know for a fact that if I accept his money, my mother and brother will remind me of this for the rest of my life. They have this urge to remind you of every little thing that they do for you. But that's not them doing anything for you. That's them paying rent.
Yeah.
That's him paying rent. If he tries to hold it over your head, but I gave you that money. It's like you paid rent.
But he's paying his sister's rent.
Yeah.
Not his
Next.
That's how their minds work. They didn't pay for his rent. He paid for his sister's rent.
No, you paid me the rent that you owed me for living in my home. Oh, hey, by the way, speaking of good handshakes, I'll give you the best handshake of your life. If you listen to full episodes with stories like this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts from, all you got to do is search that right there. Okay, story time. Search that up. And you've got 48 straight days worth of stories to peruse through at your leisure. We do have a little bit of story left. Clearly.
Yeah, these people are crazy. Make him move out. Say, hey, I will not accept your rent, but you can move out now.
Maybe get to the root of what's going on with your brother.
I don't know. I don't think that's
because
worth
clearly the mom is whack. The mom is perpetuating, and the mom has enabled his negative behavior.
I think get him out as soon as possible.
Of course, you still need to get him out. You need to be like, here's the point that you're getting out. But I feel like if you want to salvage any relationship with him, the way to do it is to be like, what's going on? He does need a wake-up call for sure.
Yeah.
He needs an absolute wake-up call. And being evicted might be that. We're going to finish the story. A couple of days ago, my brother and I got into one of our silly arguments. He again started yelling and screaming, which is insane. I just kept quiet and watched him. I tried to understand why he was so angry. I asked him, why are you yelling at me as if I am your enemy? He stopped and started crying. He told me that he thinks he's misunderstood and it frustrates him. At that moment, my heart ached and I hugged him. He cried on my shoulder and kissed me on the cheek, and we ended the argument with smiles. Yesterday, he took me out shopping and we shared a dinner, just the two of us. I know many of you are disappointed with me. I am one of those people who believes others mistreating us might be a cry for help. I am trying to be a good sister. Thank you. P.S. 5 minutes after writing this update, boyfriend asked for a date again, and he got offended and did not respond. I keep asking him every day to see if he ever gives me an answer. Boyfriend said he doesn't have the patience and will be staying with his friend until my brother moves out. No. Now I find myself pressuring him to move out, and it sickens me. I do not want to punt him out and turn it into him. What do I do? Dude, no. You have to set a boundary. You have to set a boundary with your brother. I liked where you were going, where it's like, why are you talking to me this way? Like, I'm providing you a place to live. Why are you talking to me like I am your enemy?
He needs to go to therapy so bad.
He does. He needs to figure it out. He needs to unpack his baggage. But you cannot let this guy, who's your brother, like
treat you like this,
steamroll your life. Like, he's not just affecting your finances. He's affecting your relationship with your boyfriend. He's affecting your relationship with your mother. Like, he's affecting your mental, like, well-being, like, in your own house. He needs to go. He's 30. He has money saved up. He is in no way gonna, like, if he leaves your place and cannot find another situation, it's 100% on him.
Yeah. Natural selection should come into play at that point.
$30K saved up.
He could definitely find himself a place.
That is plenty to find even just an in-between spot.
Yeah.
You could find something tomorrow. So don't feel bad. Give him a hard boundary. Give him a couple weeks and be like, you're gone. And if you're not gone, then we're going to have to get the authorities involved, okay?
Exactly.
But
guys, that's it.
That is the end of this.
Anyways, guys, we freaking love you. We're going to be back soon.
Yeah.
We will be back.
We will. But right now we're leaving.
We're leaving right now.
And we love you all.